Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, it was a rough go of it for the New York Jets yesterday. The offensive line completely dismantled by one Micah Parsons. This Dallas Cowboys team is legit. They may wind up being the Super Bowl team for the NFC. So maybe we can hang our hats on that. We took a big L this past week, but we got to move past it. We got a division rival this week. We got New England coming to our building. We are the underdogs once again. Jets have not been favored in a single game this season. But I want to get some thoughts from you guys. I want to hear all of the reaction, the vitriol. Do you think that there's some issues with Breece Hall and the Sauce Gardner deleting his Twitter? And is the locker room going to stay together? Can we keep it together? It's only week 2. Can't be this early in the season. Can't be this early in the season. You know what we played like? Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I cannot express how frustrated I was with yesterday's game after I thought we were going to come out and at least be competitive, run the ball. Breece Hall couldn't even get over 10 yards. None of our running backs got over 10 yards. How do you do that? How do you even have what do you hang your hat on for that game? If you're Robert Saleh, you say, oh, well, Zach didn't suck, I guess, for 3/4 of the game. You can't say about the defense. Really? I mean, they couldn't get off the field. 43 minutes? Close to 43 minutes on the field? You're not going to win many games like that. Not going to win many games like that. And if you play that way against the Patriots, we're going to get our ass stomped. Just telling you what it is. Just telling you what it is. Boys and girls, this is going to be the call-in show for tonight. So any of you fans that are out there that want to call and voice your opinion, I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes on the clock. But after 3 minutes,
That's it. You're out of here.
You get ejected from the cockpit. So I'm excited to talk to you guys, see where everything, where the fan base is. How are you guys feeling? Because I know you guys were not feeling great yesterday. Based on the AFC East roundtable, you guys weren't feeling so happy. Either no one showed up. There's 4 teams on that panel. The Jets represented 12% of it tonight. Not great. Richie and I had no support. No support. What's up, Jet Engine? See you in there. Ryan, you're missing the point with Zach. Did he play meh? Okay, sure. Not the point. I understand Zach played meh. But do you think any other quarterback does better back there? That's kind of where my head is. And I think that's where I'm at. Right? Are you giving up a pick for Kirk Cousins? Or is there another quarterback that's going to do better than Zach Wilson did yesterday? There is absolutely a correlation between the lack of running and Zach Wilson, or the lack of effectiveness of running, because they're stacking the box with 8 people. They're daring Zach to throw the ball. But you know what you do against a stacked box? You run. And I'm not saying necessarily run it with the running backs. If they're going to play man on the side, let Zach run. Let him run. The dude's athletic. And at this point, what do you got to lose? Everyone's calling this dude a bust as is anyway. Let's see what we can do. I want to see him just unleash Zach. Just let him go all athletic, willy-nilly, see what happens. I'm not concerned with injury. I don't want to get him hurt, but I'm not concerned with injury because season's in the shitter without Aaron Rodgers. If we play like we played yesterday, brutal, absolutely brutal. Offensive line-wise, oh man, we have got to do something. I don't know if you give them the week to try and straighten it out, but I want to see Becton move over to the left-hand side. Apparently 83% of you guys in the chat want to see Becton move to the left-hand side as well. If you have to move Becton to left, AVT to right, to give your quarterback a little bit time to throw, apparently Zach's stats, when he's not under pressure, not that bad. One of the better stat lines. Although it was such a small sample size. 70% pressure rate against the Jets. No quarterback's going to be able to withstand that. No quarterback. Absolutely crushing. Jack Talks Jets says, season is a roller coaster. For sure. Yes. I don't like it. Oreo says, if the Jets lose to the Pats, the fan base will go wild and think this will break the locker room and lose to Mac Jones and the Patriots. Yeah, that's my concern. I am very, very nervous about this week coming up. I think you have to worry about the locker room fracturing. Hopefully it's not as bad as it outwardly looked because you had the Breece Hall comments, or at least the tweet with the 4 football emojis. I think Hackett's got to get his head out of his ass. Yesterday's game, not good. You got to be running behind your strength on the offensive line, which is AVT and Becton. Although, to be honest, according to Pro Football Focus, and I'm not a huge Pro Football Focus guy, but I do throw their stats out there whenever it supports something that I'm frustrated with. There were 162 offensive linemen graded for week 2. Still got 2 more games to play tonight. 162 offensive linemen graded. The Jets' best offensive lineman was Laken Tomlinson, 36th of 162. Elijah Vera Tucker came in at 135. Dwayne Brown, 156. Connor McGovern, 160. Mekhi Becton, 161. That was out of 162 players. You're telling me 3 of our starters, left tackle, right tackle, center, 3 in the bottom 16 in the NFL. 3 in the bottom 16. That can't happen. That cannot happen. And Jets' defense, non-existent. I was expecting the opposite. It's weird. Like, it's an odd feedback loop. If you can't move the ball on offense, your defense is going to stay on the field. If your defense stays on the field, they're going to get tired. If they get tired, they're going to give up more points and give up more yardage and all that. So I give them credit for making them kick a bunch of field goals, I guess. And we got screwed on the 1 touchdown because you had the 2 unnecessary roughness calls on Clemens and on JFM. The JFM one was on 3rd down. Critical penalty to get called in that spot, especially when you get hit you hit Dak in the leg or like in the hip, upper hip. Like, can we say that? Like, that was a bullshit fucking call. Let's call a spade a spade. Defense has to have a big bounce back game against Mac Jones. Patriots are a different team than Dallas. Got a Patriot fan in here. What's up? He says, if not 25-0, Pats 23, Jets 17, final in overtime. If the Jets play like how they played yesterday, the Patriots are going to win this game. The Patriots have been in both games that they were in. I expect them to lose against both Philadelphia and Miami. Now, obviously, they lost to both of them, but like, it was a lot closer than I thought. I was penciling in Patriots at the beginning of the season, bottom of the division. Jets better watch themselves. Jets 366 says, how can we not drink, Ryan? Shake my head. I know, right? It's hard not to. I got my seltzer. I'm trying to do better. Trying not to completely be belligerently drunk. This team drives you to drink, though. It's not an excuse. But it is the truth. Thank you so much, Jets 366. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Jess P says, safe to say Dwayne Brown has to go. Put him in the retirement home. You know what? Let me pull up the other. Pull up this. We'll look at this here. I got some things on the ticker. We could really digest this. Look at that number. 1745 to 4215. That is the number. Dwayne Brown. Whole offensive line. It's hard to give anyone a pass. Can't give anyone a pass. Not great. Dakota says Hackett is Mike LaFleur caliber on the Jets. Curse rubbed off on him too. I mean, did you see Hughes' tweet? The Jets' offense is worse than Denver's offense through 2 weeks of the season. It's only a 2-week sample size, but not great. Not ideal. We never get calls to go our way. No, we never do. It feels like the refs are always out to get us. When's the last time we had a roughing the passer call? I saw something from Buffalo Jet fan. I think it was like 600 days ago or something stupid like that. 2 years ago, year and a half ago. Insane. Absolutely insane. Unacceptable. Brambo, Jets O-line is trash, and Rodgers was dead man regardless. If we had Rodgers back there, that game does not turn out any differently than it was. The Jets got absolutely bullied by Dallas. No quarterback behind that offensive line would have done any better. Billy SBC says the whole problem is the line, no other position. Yesterday, yes. I would say that would be the biggest one. I mean, yesterday was a team loss across the board. Absolutely brutal. Gangrene says, I voted yes to making Mekhi Becton the left tackle, but give Brown one more week. Yeah, that's what I would give Brown the week to recoup. I would give this whole offensive line. Give him 1 week. That was a lethal pass rush. Hold your own against the Patriots. Build some positive juju. You lose this game to the Patriots, I don't want to be in that locker room. I'm afraid to read the headlines. Shit is scary. Dakota says Hardman should be our kick returner or a returner for kickoffs consistently. Have we even seen a kick return get returned yet? I'm like having a brain fart. Maybe like 1 or 2. Woke Hogan says, fire Joe Douglas. Woke, you're out of your damn mind. I'm not firing Joe Douglas. That is a stupid take. Thank you for the $5. I'm sorry. I cannot say fire Joe Douglas right now. I mean, he has pumped so many assets into the offensive line. And you may say, like, hey, look, you pumped that many assets in the offensive line, it's still shit. Like, you deserve to go. He also had, like, one of the best drafts in NFL history. So at some level, that does have to carry him. Now, at the end of this year is when you would want to re-sign Douglas. So you want to see more out of the rest of the players on the team that he's drafted in the last year and growth from other players. Zach Wilson missing. That's a big black eye. Rodgers not being here, that hurts a lot. I do think that Douglas and Salah are both here through the Rodgers experiment, which I do think will last through next year. And unless it turns around for the good next year, I think Rodgers is done after 2. And I think it might be it might be like one of those clean house situations at that point. And I don't like that because I like Robert Saleh. I think he's a good head coach that's been snake bitten by bad quarterback play and poor offensive line play. Joe Douglas, man, dude, I don't know what it is about him being an offensive line scout and not being able to like figure out the offensive line. We're going on, 4.5 years with Douglas now? He's brought in good talent. Fant, Moses. He's tried to fix things, off the scrap heap. It's not like he didn't go after, Joe Tooney or Orlando Brown or Jack Conklin. Jets offered contracts to all those guys. Shitty thing about free agency, they can choose where they want to go. That's why his drafts are so important. Oreo says, how long is the leash for Salah and JD? Wasn't there a report that ownership was split on Salah? I really like Salah. If the Jets finish with 7 wins or below, I don't know if he comes back next year. I think as long as Rodgers is here, this team's going to stay together. I don't think you're going to pull the plug partway through a Rodgers thing. Now, if Rodgers says he retires, then I would say anything could go. I don't want to see Robert Saleh go. I think Robert Saleh is a good head coach. Everything I've seen behind the scenes, I like Robert Saleh a lot. But you got to start winning games, dude. Got to start winning games. McNally says, give Izzy Cook's minutes. Yeah, once Izzy can play, I would like to see him get a few more reps. I didn't think Cook was bad. It definitely looks like he lost a step for sure. And we heard a lot of Jet fans saying, like, look, you cannot sign Cook for that much money. He's washed. Look at all these different statistics. I understand that. And right now it's rearing its ugly head. But our stud in Breece Hall also looked like dog shit yesterday. So it's not all on Cook. So give it a little bit. Still getting back into the swing of things. I'm gonna pencil this in as a shit. That was a bad game. Let's hit the reset button. Let's figure it all out. Solis comes in and says, JD has been snake bitten by freak offensive line injuries. Yeah, Clark, he drafts, never plays a snap, winds up retiring. Jets have an injury settlement with him. You have Becton, never hurt in college, misses 2 years. AVT looks like a stud. McGovern has been serviceable for the most part. I think you got to find a way to get Tippmann in the lineup, especially with Zach back there. Like, why not run with some of the younger kids? Laken Tomlinson, Dwayne Brown. Dude, Laken Tomlinson was a Pro Bowler prior to coming over here. He turned to a pumpkin. Blitzkrieg comes in and says, Becton's still working his way back. Hopefully can perform at left tackle soon, get Tippmann in there, and get Collins signed at right tackle when he can play again. Yeah, La'el Collins was cut by the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe it was a cap dump, if I am correct there. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong. But yeah, you got to bring in some help. Get them up to speed by the bye week. If the Jets can go into the bye week at 2-4, it sucks, but I think I would feel decent. Jets got to win one of these next 4 games. If you drop like a 4 spot and you're now 1-5 going into the bye, there is going to be a lot of pissed off players. You are wasting the prime years of Brees, AVT, Sauce, Garrett. You got to figure out this offensive line. It cannot be the excuse. It's one thing if Zach is the reason we're losing, then you go out and you trade for a quarterback. But unfortunately, that's not what's happening right now. That was a complete and utter domination of 5 grown men standing in front of Zach Wilson. And the only reason we didn't have more sacks is because Zach Wilson is mobile. You put any other quarterback there that's not mobile, getting toasted. Absolutely getting toasted. Bimbus says, okay, listen, Mitchell at right tackle, Becton at left tackle, Tippmann at center. I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. I think if you move Becton to left tackle, heck, maybe you slide AVT back over to left guard. You get Tippmann at center. Do we try Weisberg or whatever the hell his name is at right guard? Give him a shot. And then you got Mitchell or La'el Collins. Someone throw out a lifeline. Zach's going to be on life support before too long. J-Boy says, Allen didn't beat the Pats till year 3, so now Zach's time to get it done. I mean, he's definitely got to get it done. I hope he does. We need it bad. I mean, and you couldn't be in like a worse situation than you currently are right now. Stifler's mom says, I love Sauce, but I want to see him travel. Apparently, according to Dov Kleinman on Twitter, or whoever he quoted, Sauce wants to travel as well. You cannot, yeah, see, there's a tweet. I don't know how you can argue you have one of the best cornerbacks in the league and not have him follow the other team's best player. If you're the opposing offense, you're just saying, okay, well, Sauce is over there, so we're going to put CeeDee Lamb over there. And we're just going to put him in the slot because, like, you got Michael Carter there, and he's our best option against CeeDee Lamb, the opposing offense. And then he gets knocked out of the game, and you got Brandon Eccles on him. Mismatch. Absolute mismatch. Jet Life says, feed Brees, run behind AVT and Becton. There is room to run behind those two. Put those two in. Throw Ruckert in there, too. Ruckert was blocking his ass off. What did he have, like 7-8 snaps yesterday? Billy. Dakota. Billy, yeah, we need to seriously restructure this offensive line now or else Brees is getting killed anytime he touches the ball. Yeah, it's hard not to... It's hard to watch Brees get tackled 3 yards deep. Doesn't even stand a chance. Followed up with the Brees drops. Yeah, he had two bad drops. I will say this, maybe, and Matt brought this up earlier, maybe Brees catches those if Zach puts a little more touch on it and doesn't throw it maybe as fast. I didn't think they were overly quick throws, but those hit Brees in the hand. Brees got to catch those. Help us out a little bit, dude. And don't say 4 touches when you drop 2 passes, too. Come on. You're better than that. Armand says, relax, everyone. It was one game. Let's see if we turn it around this week. Fucking need to. You got to turn it around. Can't go much longer. Andrew says, I was never a fan of the wide 9 defense. It's very vanilla. Is hard to adjust. I prefer 3-4, but with the talent we've drafted, I've complained this defense. I haven't complained. This defense can be top 3. So I really like having 4 down linemen. I really do. Because I love getting after the quarterback with 4 guys. And I think that's what we should be able to do. They just dinked and dunked their way with Pollard and just neutralized our pass rush. Everything we needed to do against them, they did against us. They hurried up with the ball, wouldn't let us switch out our defensive lines. Our guys got gassed. Sucks. Really sucks. Logan says, Jets need to throw deep ball so Zach can get space to run down the field. That puts less guys on receivers, so the defense has to worry more about it. Creates great space for our whole entire offense. I want to see Zach run. I really do. That is an entire portion of his game that he is good at. He is above average at. And we just don't use it. We're afraid to get him hurt. We're afraid what type of decision he might make. Take the kid gloves off. Let him run. Solis says, I know he didn't like the offensive line coach. Well, what about Taylor Lewan? Taylor Lewan actually retired. So he's done. I think he dropped a ton of weight too, if I'm not mistaken. Jonathan says, if we are 1-5, we are in the running for Caleb Williams. I don't think if the Jets get the top pick, they may make that selection. They should make that selection if you do land that pick. I think the Jets are too good, though. I don't think we should be talking draft. Man, I don't know. Deshaun Watson throws a pick 6. Good, fuck him. I'm not watching the game right now. I should put the game on. Screw it. Jet Engine, welcome back to First Class. I'm guessing it just re-upped. I think you remember like 2 minutes ago when I threw your super chat up there. So maybe it just kicked in the auto payment. Either way, thank you very much. Love you, dude. Jet Nation for life. Kelvin says, why with this Zach bullshit, we all see it? Because who else are you putting out there? Kelvin, what are we doing? What's the answer at quarterback right now? Putting out Tim Boyle? You making a trade? Why waste draft capital if the offensive line can't get it figured out? If the offensive line gets it figured out by the trade deadline, make a trade for a quarterback. I'm 100% on board. 100%. No team's trading their backup right now anyway. We need the Vikings to lose as many games as possible. We need the Commanders to lose as many games as possible. I don't believe the Colts are going to wind up trading Gardner Minshew. Or you got to bring in like a Carson Wentz. You got to bring in some kind of competition. I do agree. But I don't think quarterback's the issue right now. It makes it very hard to blame Zach for things when the offensive line is as bad as they are. Knobcraft says the wide 9 can't do anything when you can't cover the midfield. Yeah, our linebackers, I feel like we are missing Quan in that running back game. Buffalo doesn't have a huge running game outside of Josh Allen. Now they did yesterday, but against the Jets, not so much. Man, I don't know. Our weakness has always kind of been the running back or tight end peeling off. Gotham City Jet says, Ryan, yesterday's game was disappointing, but we have to beat the Patriots. They are our arch rivals. They've been a thorn in our sides for years. They have been a thorn in our sides for years. And I am very concerned. I thought I was so confident going into the season. If there's one game I could have, one game, it was week 3. And through 2 weeks, I'm concerned. I am concerned. Jet Engine says, do I really need to explain this to you, Ryan? Yeah, I do. I'm clearly not understanding it. Woke Hogan. This O-line is a disaster. O-line's a disaster. And normally I would say Zach Wilson is the cause of it because he's holding on to the ball too long. But, dude, Parsons was getting to him so friggin' fast. I don't know if Zach had 2.5 seconds at any point during yesterday's game. The only time he had a shot was when Parsons went wide on Brown and Zach stepped up in the pocket and dipped around. It's like the only time. Devin says, if I hear any more tank talk, I'm going to lose my mind. We're 1-1. We played bad. We can bounce back. Literally happened last year's defense took 2 weeks to play. I think it took 4 weeks because I think we lost to the Bengals week 3. Is that right? It was after the Bengals game when Quinnen went off on White Cotton and DJ Reed was upset. Then everyone kind of clicked it into gear. You got to be able to score points on offense, though. It's funny, the one touchdown drive we had with Garrett Wilson, we scored so fast, the defense went right back out onto the field. It's a great problem to have. Man. Cuca Lake says, Wentz keeps making sense more and more. I can't believe I'm saying that. Yeah, I mean, you gotta have another option other than Zach, because I don't trust Zach to play the 3 quarters we saw at the beginning of the game yesterday, to play to that level. Like, if Belichick comes out and just embarrasses Zach Wilson, and you don't have a backup quarterback in yet, then you're probably not teaching, or you're probably not like getting that quarterback up to speed until after the bye week. Maybe they're saying, hey, we just got to let Zach go for the 6 weeks until the bye week, and then we'll make our decision at the bye week what level of quarterback we need. But at that point, if you're losing so many games, what the hell are you going to do? The goal is to make the playoffs. Just because Aaron Rodgers goes down, that does not change that goal. Make the playoffs this year. Her story says, I am so sick of bad play calling. On first down, why are we always 2nd and 13, 2nd and 15? There has to be some stat for this. Yeah, it is consistently bad downs and distances. It's a run up the middle that gets blown up on the offensive line, puts us in 2nd and 13. It's a false start. It's a holding penalty. I want to move the ball forward. Getting sick of this shit. Joseph says, if a few plays go our way, we are right in that game. I think defense responds quick and O turns it around in a few weeks. Staff won't pull underperforming vets for another week or two. Yeah, I think they're going to give them the opportunity to kind of gel and see where this sort of goes. Because I don't really know the full answer anyway. Like I say, I want the younger guys in there. But like Brown and Tomlinson should be 2 of our better offensive linemen, and they are not. They are not. Knobcraft says, that box is going to be stacked until week 1, 2024. That's the issue, right? And maybe that's what Jet Engine's trying to get at here. The Jets are running into stacked boxes nonstop. No one fears Zach Wilson's arm. So make them fear his legs. If they're going to man up your receivers and they're going to turn their back to Zach, let him run. Just let him run. It sucks. I wanted to be critical of Zach, but it's hard to be critical of him when he's on his back constantly. Frustrated. Andrew says, Philly was giving Hurts 8 to 9 seconds and he was mediocre. They had to run the ball. Our O-line can't give us half of that time. Even Rodgers can't fix that. Yeah, it's not good. No quarterback's going to do well behind that line. J-Boy says, I'll keep saying it. Zach needs big Tittman. I would like to see Tittman in the game. Why not? McGovern was just I feel like McGovern was there just because Rodgers was comfortable with the vet center. if you can move McGovern to a guard position, kick AVT out to tackle, you got to find some way to give our offense some time. I don't know what it is. And then in the offseason, you just spend all the money. You bring him back to Ari, you get whatever you can get, and you just push all the assets into offensive line. Juan comes in, says, Brown didn't have a minicamp. He's still working back into game shape, and Parsons makes the top O-line look like third strings. Give them 2 more weeks. Yeah, I don't know how much slack I want to give the offensive line because they were just getting spun around like tops. Parsons is probably going to be the defensive MVP and very well might likely be the overall MVP. If he continues at this pace, I don't know how you can argue it. The kid is unreal. Unreal. Douglas drops in. The crap I'm hearing about Zach is the same BS that was being spewed about Geno. People are letting cumulative years of frustration blind them from seeing any context with his struggles up to now. So So are you saying, I guess I could take this one of 2 ways. Are you saying that Zach struggled just like Geno and we should have passed on Geno earlier than we did and we should pass on Zach earlier? Or are you saying that Geno is now a decent quarterback and Zach should be following suit in some capacity? We have given Zach so much help this year and last year. The offensive line needs to get it figured out. But at some point it becomes a weird like chicken or the egg conversation. Because you have Zach holding the ball too long makes the offensive line look bad. But if Zach holds the ball long, that means the offensive line did their job. So it's like this weird sort of chicken or the egg conversation that we wind up having and getting ourselves into. I think I would give Zach and the starting unit a game back. New England. Prove to the league that you are not the pushovers you were yesterday. I want you to prove it. Cuca Lake says, coaching has been limited due to Zach and his mind and fragile ego, second offensive staff that can't fix him. So I kind of want to, let's hop over to this real quick. This was Robert Saleh in his press conference talking about Zach Wilson.
You know, it's funny. You know, he's not going to see a better pass rush. I mean, he could, and you never know. I mean, Dallas's pass rush is pretty good. It's about as good a pass rush as he's going to see. And I think anyone who watches football and you look at it from a global standpoint will see that he's so much improved in the pocket, his presence in the pocket. I thought he delivered a lot of really good passes. That ball to Garrett that he was trying to throw at just before the half, if it doesn't get tipped, that's a touchdown. The strike he threw to Garrett for the big touchdown, he threw a couple of really good took care of the ball. He scrambled when he needed to. He stepped up in the pocket when he needed to. I thought he did a really nice job. Did it get away from him in the fourth quarter when I felt like he was trying to make a play with us being down 3 scores? He made a couple of throws that he didn't need to make. But up until then, I felt like if we could have just got them the damn ball and gave them some more opportunities, I think it would have. I think people would have seen that he was playing pretty well up until, like I said, when it was garbage time and he was trying to force the ball.
So I don't know how much I want to buy it. If you had just gotten the ball back to Zach, they would have done better. That offense couldn't move the ball even when they had the ball. But it is hard to get in a rhythm when the defense is on the field for 43 minutes. I thought Zach did some nice things yesterday. And every time I watch him play and he runs and takes off with the ball, dude's always getting 8-10 yards at a clip. Force a linebacker to spy him. Force the defense to account for Zach's legs. If your offensive line can't block, throw him a bone. If the defense has to rely on that, they can't just pin their ears back. They're going to have to play contain. How do you play against Lamar Jackson? And I'm not saying Zach Wilson is Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, but you play contain. And then all of a sudden, you wind up having a pocket. And if you can't throw, then it becomes evident, right? But if they're allowed to just tee off and they have no concern that Zach's going to, take off and run on him, I want to see the run. I really do. Hexen. Thoughts on the Jets needing to draft a quarterback to sit behind Rodgers next year? I don't think Wilson is it, and we can't have Rodgers retire and have no quarterback. I hate to tell you, Hexen, I do agree with you, but there is no way the Jets spend a first or third round pick on a quarterback this year. It's just not going to happen. Short of Rodgers retiring, it's not going to happen. They're going to put every asset they have into winning a Super Bowl right now because you have Rodgers right now. Use the picks to help your team right now. I mean, short of getting the number one overall. You get the number one overall pick, we got to do it. Like, sorry, Rodgers. Like, it just is what it is. Got to do it. But I think this team's too good. Jets are going to wind up picking, 12 through 17, somewhere in there. And I'm not saying don't take a quarterback if you covet one, but I think Rodgers chose the Jets because they committed to putting every asset behind him. Rodgers wants the Tom Brady treatment. He wants every asset going towards him. I came here to win a ring. I did you guys the favor by coming here. That's what it is. And honestly, look, Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh are tied to Rodgers' success. If Rodgers does not have success, they're both gone. And the next quarterback's not going to matter. And I'll be honest, I don't think I want to draft a quarterback and then have a regime change. I don't want to see that. I think Douglas should keep his job, and I think he should stay long-term. But I get the feeling Zach is going to be our backup next year, too. Maybe you bring in another vet. Maybe something happens and you say, okay, well, we just got to move Zach. But I would be very surprised if the Jets moved on from Zach after this year with Rodgers coming back. Like, I feel like you just sort of, you have this little egg that you're waiting to, like, maybe potentially hatch. Maybe we've already stepped on it, it's crushed, and sorry, oops. But I really don't think the Jets are in any position. Not that they're not in any position. I don't think they are going to make the move to draft a quarterback because of having Rodgers here. B. West. Do our players respect the coaching staff? Guys go on social media after every game. You don't see this throughout the league. No, I would bet you see this throughout the league. I don't like Brees going on and posting the 4 football emojis. Clearly, he knew he was wrong as soon as he did it because he deleted it. There's a lot of drama that goes into it. And look, you can't rule with an iron fist and say, hey, you guys can't post stuff. You can't do this. Don't be on Twitter. But you're pouring gasoline on a fire. I'm more upset with Brees tweeting that out than anything else. He's not wrong. Like your best player should have more touches. We should be finding ways to get Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall the ball in space. That's on Hackett. But keep that in-house. There is no reason to air that shit out in the public. I got a big issue when players do that. Jet Engine. Dougie. Zach sucks. Stop acting like the guy is special. Needs kid in like a special needs kid in Pop Warner. Year 3 and he's trash. Nice kid, bad quarterback. That is 100% accurate description of how Zach has been to this point in time. And he may not develop any further. That may just be it. My argument, Jet Engine, is just that the offensive line was so bad, we didn't even give him the chance to show us how bad of a quarterback he is or how good of a quarterback he is. Just didn't give him the opportunity. It makes me sick looking at all these stats and you see, Zach Wilson is like the worst quarterback through 2 weeks of any quarterback who started 2 games. Week 1, dude was thrown in a rough spot with no game plan. Week 2, I felt like it was a fairer assessment of what Zach could have been. Or could be. I don't know. It sucks. It really, really sucks. I want Zach to work out. And at this point, it's hard to say he's ever going to work out. The odds are severely stacked against him. Severely stacked against him. But at the same time, how do you justify trading for a quarterback right now when the offensive line looks like that? I don't know. I don't think Jet Engine's wrong. J-Boy, they are protecting Hall from himself. That tweet shows it. That was my gut feeling too. He's on a pitch count and they're not trying to overutilize him. Armani AD. We are ready now, but our quarterback is not. Even A-Rod spoke about how unfortunate it was for Zach to be thrown back into the fire. It happens. We drafted bad, but Fields and Mac are not much better. Look, in hindsight, you probably keep Darnold. Exercise his fifth-year option. You take the 2 years, see what you have in him. And then you wind up trading down with the 49ers that draft, and you draft the Micah Parsons. Or you draft a Jamar Chase. Just sitting at 2. I don't know. Hindsight's always 20/20. I felt the right move at the time, and I still feel like with hindsight being 20/20, given where you were at in Sam's contract, it was probably wise to go for the quarterback. We just missed. It sucks. It happens, and it happens to us far more frequently than it doesn't. If you get a quarterback, what quarterback are you bringing in, and how are you, like, I know you shouldn't care about Zach's confidence at this point, but there's still a locker room dynamic that has to come into play. And I feel like Zach has to earn not starting before you wind up pulling him. And I don't feel like through 2 games I don't think he's done that. Like, if you're looking at the box score and you're saying 3 interceptions, it looks really, really bad. But the Jets were down by 3 scores at that point going in the fourth quarter. I don't know. Joe says, Ryan, the correct move is to draft a quarterback and have him sit behind Aaron Rodgers. I'm fine with drafting a quarterback after the 3rd round. That's the issue, though, is what kind of quarterback are you going to get that late? Spending a 1st-round pick when you have Aaron Rodgers? I mean, unless you think like drafting a quarterback is going to piss off Aaron Rodgers so much he's going to have 2 back-to-back MVP seasons, then go ahead and do it. Let's light a fire under his ass. But I think at that point, just be like, fuck you guys, I'm retiring. I really don't think the Jets are drafting a quarterback this year. Wouldn't hate it. I just don't think it's going to happen. Sky's the limit. We got a Dolphins fan in here. He says, bad play calling. Hack is a trash offensive coordinator. He's only been good with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers made Hack. People don't realize or understand that. No, I think most people will say that's the case. Now, he did lead a really good rushing attack in Jacksonville. Got him to an AFC Championship game. I don't see there's any reason the Jets can't do that. We got the running game. We got the defense. Blake Bortles has been a far better quarterback than we saw from Zach, though. DeCat says, love your show. Do you think Case Keenum would be an upgrade? Maybe we get lightning in a bottle the rest of the year. I do like Case Keenum. I'm a fan. I don't know where he's at right now. What is Case Keenum doing? Is he on a team? Blitzcrew comes in and says, I get why people are saying Zach is trash. With the offensive line and how we're built, what is the option? We're stuck for now. Make the best of it. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, quarterback-wise, like, do you see any of the quarterbacks that we could bring in, like, surviving behind that offensive line? If this is what the consistent offensive line is going to wind up being, I think we got lucky that Von Miller didn't play week 1. Von Miller plays week 1. We may be 0-2. We very likely are 0-2. I mean, heck, we needed a punt return touchdown to win that game. And we had 4 turnovers. That's not a successful formula. Not a successful formula. You can't rely solely on turnovers. You had 4 extra possessions, or maybe the same amount of possessions, but you shortened the amount of Buffalo ones. I don't know. Jet Engine comes in again and says, the Jets replaced Darnold with an inferior model of the same mold. Shake my fucking head. Stop telling us the what, and let's talk about the why. Are you on the fire Joe Douglas bandwagon jet engine? Is that kind of like the poor evaluation, or is it the offensive line? Look, I don't know. There was plenty of warts looking at Zach Wilson coming out, and we saw his pro day throw, and we're like, oh, that's it. That's the guy. He can make some amazing throws. His throw to Lazard, where Lazard didn't get the other foot in. I mean, not many quarterbacks are making that throw. Like that, like you can see the special that Zach has. But for some reason, we just cannot score points when he's the quarterback. Going to be real hard to win games when you can't score points. It would be kind of nice if it went full circle and we got Kirk Cousins. If we got Kirk Cousins when I said I wanted Kirk Cousins, back when he became a free agent. Now, obviously, we offered him more money. He turned us down. He went to the Vikings. But imagine having Quentin Nelson with the 6th overall pick. Imagine having 3 more second-round picks. Maybe you spent one of those on DK Metcalf. Jets needed a receiver. It's possible. Now, you also had McCagnon making those picks, so maybe it doesn't work out quite that way. I don't know. Slap says no quarterback on the market is going to do any better. That's exactly where I'm at right now. Like, until this offensive line can protect, like if our running game is just running it down their throat and we're losing because Zach is turning the ball over, then I'm like, fine, like let's go get the quarterback. Let's make this right. This dude Sky in here because he got no life or friends, so he's talking smack. Come on, dude, find a hobby. Nah, he's in here because he was watching the AFC's roundtable, and he's like, yo, that dude is going live. Gonna rub some dirt on it. Or rub a little salt in it. It's all right. It's all right. I enjoy having the division rivals in here. Because 9 times out of 10, you guys will give me an honest take. No, I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10. I'll give it like a solid 60% of the time. Sometimes we just get trolls. Sky's the limit is a great name for a dolphin, by the way. So good job on that. Oreo says, would you want to see Sam Darnold back? I mean, I think he can do a little better than Zach Wilson, to be honest. I hate to think how talented this team is. We could end up with a top 5 pick. Look at the schedule. Oh, God, that is just crushing. If you wind up with a top 5 pick, I don't know how Salah comes back. That is just awful. I mean, maybe you just hang your hat on like, hey, look, it was Rodgers. Like, it was Rodgers or bust, and we busted hard. I don't know the right move. I don't know the right move. I don't know, says there's enough talent on this team to win. You just have to let Zach play, not hope he doesn't lose the game. That's my biggest issue, is they're calling the game like they don't trust Zach Wilson. And I'm in this weird, odd, I keep saying feedback loop, but that's honestly where I'm at. If you don't trust Zach Wilson, the defense understands you don't trust Zach Wilson, then they're going to take away the options you do trust. TF Breezy says, trade for Purdy. Yeah, I'm sure San Francisco will be picking up that phone call. Not happening. Bacon says, AVT to left tackle, Tippmann to guard. That I wouldn't mind. See how that works out. I feel like AVT moving to tackle is like almost like a must. But we have Mitchell, and you've got like, I don't know. AVT was good. He's a good tackle, but he's a great guard. I don't want to have to move him around that much. B West says, be honest, Ryan, Nathan Peterman is better than Zach. Ugh. Woof. I'm gonna choose to ignore that one. But I will say this. Zach Wilson, for the better part of 2 years and 2 games, not good. Not good at all.
That's it! You're out of here!
Not good. Oh, jeez. All gas, no gas. Brees gave me 0.9 fantasy points. Yup. Me too. Gonna lose my game because of him. Joe says, Ryan, look at Caleb Williams' highlights and Drake May's freshman tape and tell me you don't want a quarterback in the first. Oh, no, I understand they're both phenomenal. I don't think the Jets are going to be one of the top 2 or 3 worst teams in the league to earn one, though. Brutal if we are. CMNYJ says, I blame the coaching, the play calling, and the schemes. I mean, this is our second play caller on our second schemes, and we still look like dog shit. Fuck. What the hell? Jet Life says, bro, we need to run behind AVT and Becton. Put Ruckert in too. Yeah, make the right-hand side like an impenetrable wall. Put Ruckert next to Becton in line and AVT right next to him. And just run. Dare other teams to stop us. The left side of the line's weak. Zach Wilson holds the ball too long. Lean on your best player in Brees. Run behind your best players in AVT and Becton. Use your best players. Then you do play action and throw it to Garrett. See? See how that works? Sky C, our resident Dolphin fan in here, says, Bryce Hall is the cornerback. Brees Hall is the running back. Said himself, 4 touches on the ground will lose every game like that. Well, we didn't have 4 rushes. We had more than 4 rushes. The issue with Brees that I have is that he dropped 2 screen passes. So he didn't have 4 touches. He had 6. Just 2 of them didn't get caught. What's up, Curly? Glad to have you in here. Kevin Flores says Vikings might tank for Caleb. I think the Cardinals are in the driver's seat for that one right now. I think the Raiders are somewhere in that discussion. If the Vikings are going all in on the tank, I mean, how do you not, like, if you can get Kirk Cousins and sign him to a deal, he's what, 34 years old, 35 years old? He's been rock solid. How much, I don't know, what are you willing to give up for Kirk? And is he better behind this offensive line? I mean, at least he's a starting quarterback. And then how do you deal with Rodgers after that? Do you just let Cousins walk at the end of the season? Douglas comes in and says, when the defense stacks 8 in the box and then pass protection sucks and a rusher is in the backfield in 2 seconds, any quarterback is fucked. I don't care what it's called. You're not wrong. But are they stacking 8 in the box because they don't trust Zach? Or they don't believe they can beat him, or that he can beat them with his arm? Now, Dallas has a good secondary. So they may just rely on their back-end pieces and just say, hey, yo, edge rushers, go. And we just don't have anywhere to go with it. Like, we may have just faced a lethal matchup this week. There's a really good chance the Cowboys are the NFC representative for the Super Bowl this year. Sky's the limit. You're missing the point. He's a running back, not a receiver. Well, yeah. Are you saying that running backs are not supposed to catch the ball? Like, I get that he needs his touches. But if you're going to manufacture touches for him, part of those touches are in the receiving game. Normally, he's really good at catching the ball. I don't know what happened. He shit the bed. At least on the receptions. Whole team sucked. All gas, no gay says, what happens to Kyler? Kyler is going to get traded, which scares the ever-living shit out of me because I think there is a legitimate shot. Like, if Rodgers says, hey, I'm done, or like, I don't think he's saying he's done, though. I think we're getting Rodgers back. Kyler's definitely getting traded, though. They are absolutely going for Caleb Williams. Vinny comes in and says, replace the turf, replace SNC team. Replace SNC team. Strength and conditioning team? I think we just replaced them, didn't we? Spend big money on the offensive line. Stop drafting defensive linemen. I'm pretty sure this draft has some good offensive linemen in it. Take the best one. I do think there's a really high likelihood that David Bakhtiari is going to be our left tackle next year. If Becton will come back, sign a lesser contract to stay with us as right tackle, I would love to bring him back on a prove-it deal that is not the franchise tag, because $23 million is not the right amount of money for what you're getting out of him right now. Strength and conditioning team. Look, replacing the turf should happen across the league. If you're so amped up on player safety, why have you not done that? Is Dallas the truth, says Zachary? They look like it right now. They are juggernauts in the regular season. We'll see how they hold up as the season goes on. But that is a really tough team to beat. Parsons is right now the best player in the league. Joseph says, it's too simple. Get Breece and Garrett the ball. If they can get them 25 total touches, we are golden. Yeah, I think if you can get those guys 25 total touches between jet sweeps, between running plays, between passing plays, between screen plays, like all these different things, 25 opportunities with 2 lethal weapons, someone's scoring. You got to get the ball into your playmaker's hands. I don't want to see like passes going to Uzama or Michael Carter getting rushing yards. Now, I do understand that I do understand why they were getting opportunities. Like Michael Carter, pretty decent pass blocker. You throw him in there, try to give him some relief. RC84, great call-in show. All right. Let's get the link in there. Give me a second. Got to pull it up. I started doing it and then didn't get very far. All right. All right. Link is in the chat. If you guys feel so inclined to join. Carson, I see you calling. Give me 1 second. I just have to update something further here. Got to switch this around. Give me uno momento. It's the behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't generally see. I'm just going to tuck that back there. Boom. All right. Where is my... Boom. Call-in link is pinned in the comment section. You guys get 3 minutes on the clock. We got Carson joining the show. Carson, how you doing tonight, brother?
What's going on, Ryan?
I'm hanging in there. Trying to hold on. Keep the faith as best I can.
Hey, listen, I read a lot of Jets comments from fans, and you know what? After that emotional win on Monday Night Football on 9/11, I thought this team was going to be on a roller coaster high, and they were going to play their asses off. And if I'm being quite honest with you, there is no way that any Jets fan can call for Zach Wilson's head here. I mean, when the guy is getting pressured almost every single. First off, number one, let's oversee of Zach here, right? In his rookie year, Zach Wilson was panicking and throwing that ball either in the dirt or throwing it into double coverage. We saw him step up in the pocket when the pocket collapsed, read the field, and make a decision. Okay, so he's learning in that aspect of the game. Okay, another thing that I like what Zach did is the score sheet doesn't show it. Okay. But I said this in week 1. I said, just give the kid some fucking time. He's got all the look. I was watching the game with my dad, the Dallas game, and he made that throw to Alan Lazard along the sideline. It wound up being not a catch, but you're talking about a guy rolling left, launching that ball 40 yards down the field, pretty much on the money. It was up to Lazard to get his feet in bounds. That is what we saw. That is what JD saw. That is what Solis saw. That's what the scouting. It's there. Like, it's there. You just got to give him time with the. You just got to give him time. In terms of shifting the O line around, this is what I would do. Okay, I would. I'd like to keep McGovern at center because I don't think he's been as bad as people perceive him to be.
Okay.
This is an unfair criticism, but AVT has not been good. He
was
not
bad
been good.
yesterday. Real bad.
He was really bad. Micah Parsons made him look stupid a couple times. Now he's Micah Parsons, I get it. But you can't take out AVT, okay? I'd swing Mekhi to the left, okay? I'd actually move Lakin at left, and then I put Dwayne on the right. And you know what? Mekhi has not been great either, but I give him a little bit more slack because he hasn't played football in 2 years. Okay, so he's been in and out. I get it. Okay, same thing with Brown. He was rusty this offseason with injuries and stuff like that. But in terms of the play calling, which a lot of the Jets players were calling out for Breeze and others, what do you expect him to do? Hackett did what I thought he would do: is chip Parsons on the outside. The problem is Uzomah's a little bitch, and he can't, and he needs to get in the weight room. And then Dalvin chipped him. He got blown up. I mean, what do you expect to do? Parsons is a game wrecker. It happens. Just I didn't think Hackett's play calling was bad. But let's just see it moving forward, and let's see Zach progress and see what we have.
Boom! Carson, thank you so much for the call. He's not wrong on a lot of what he's saying. Thank you, Carson. Blitz Crew comes in and says, you think we're trading Lawson or Huff now? I mean, for what? If you can get an offensive lineman, I think it's worth trading either one of them. I think JJ should be the full-time starter instead of Lawson, and Huff is gone after this year. So if you don't think you're going to be able to realistically do some playoff stuff, maybe you can get yourself an offensive lineman in here earlier. I don't know. I feel like we're more likely to trade picks than players. All right. We got Christian on the show. Christian, how you doing tonight?
To be honest, I've been kind of feeling numb lately.
Can you check your microphone real quick? I'm just going to throw you in the green room real fast. I think it was... Oh, hold on. Let's try it one more time. You think you're good? Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Perfect. All right. Good stuff. Let me restart your
timer. All right. To be honest with you, ever since, that game ended, I've been feeling kind of numb and a little bit doom and gloom. So that sort of stuff, it sucked.
Yeah, it was a rough game. Now, what do you think the answer is? We got a big division matchup this week against New England. We haven't beaten them in 14 attempts. They're 0-2 right now, but they played tough against Philly and Miami. I mean, showed a little more life than we did, at least yesterday.
I'm not confident in us winning. I'm sorry, but I this is the damn New York Jets we're talking about. Like I've seen this happen before, of where it's just like the offensive line was horrible. There's no hiding that. And to be honest, the defense has got to stop Mac Jones, because we made Dak Prescott look like a freaking Tom Brady.
He looked really good yesterday compared to everything that we threw at them. Like we couldn't stop him. We couldn't. Every time we tried to get after him, we couldn't even apply pressure. And they're getting plays in so fast and getting to the line of scrimmage, we can't even keep our guys fresh.
Yeah, and also I don't know why everybody online is saying this. They do realize that the loss is not Zach's fault. It's the offensive line's fault, and because of them that Zach did not end up playing well. So in the end, I understand
all those box
that
score GMs. That's what it is. When I was listening to some sports radio today, and I was just like, man, I'm hearing Greeny go off saying, "Go trade for Kirk Cousins right now. Beg them to trade you Kirk Cousins." And I'm I get it. I understand you want a quarterback, but Zach wasn't the reason we lost yesterday. Unless you're putting all the eggs in the basket of they don't trust Zach to throw it, so the game plan was different, and I don't know. It's a weird chicken or the egg conversation, but I feel bad trying to move on from Zach right this second when I don't really think it was him.
Yes, and It would be really helpful if we had the 2010 offensive line right now, but obviously there's no replacing that. But we got to step up because that Patriots defense, I'm not sure how dangerous or scary it is, but anybody can make the Jets offensive line look vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm concerned about Judon this week. If the Jets get teed off again, man, I don't want to keep giving Zach passes, but you got to try and score some points. You got to score points this week. Christian, thank you so much for the call. You have been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
Sam joins. Sam, how you doing tonight, brother?
Oh, same week, same Monday.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's just like a constant. We had the fun week last week, right?
Oh yeah,
but it was even a depressing. It was a depressing Monday, really, is what it was. This time last week, we were upset because we had just lost our quarterback for the season.
Yeah, you just can't escape it. It's if there's any proof the Namath curse is real, look at the past 20 years, 30 years, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to believe it, but it's true.
Now, where do you fall on the Zach Wilson stuff? You think we just got to trade for quarterback, and that's the ultimate crux of this whole issue, or was it offensive line?
Well, there's no quarterback in the league that's going to be able to survive the pressure. Maybe Mahomes, but he's the only one that can survive that kind of pressure that they're putting on Zach. It's another year in a new system, just like Darnold. It was another year in the new system. It's going to take him more than 2 games to work with the number ones. So I think give him some time. Give him to the bye week. If we keep seeing, consistent, improving play, because he sounds like a new guy. He looks like a new guy in the field. So once Rodgers gets back on that sideline, I think, he'll get even better. But until then, you got to, try to force the run game, open things up for Zach, make it easy for him.
Yeah, I want to see the game plan that we saw last year where it was just feed Brees, get the playmakers the balls in space, and just rely on stout defense. And look, if Zach can at least not lose you the game and you could feel that he's making some progress and you're like, okay, clearly it's the quarterback that's the problem, then go make a trade for a big quarterback. We have too many good young studs on this team to waste the year, and that's my biggest concern. But if the offensive line is going to play like that, I agree. It's just I don't know who you get back there.
I also think if you really want to see what you have in him, you just open the playbook. Let him sling the ball around. Don't, you know.
I mean, it's
obviously don't make it like the fourth quarter yesterday where he's slinging the ball into, a defense that knows he's going to pass it. Just get those quick play actions over the middle of Garrett Wilson. See what, try to get that going and see if you can open something up downfield for a guy like Lazard who's known to catch balls downfield like that.
I would like to see them use Zach's legs. Create another dimension to his game that we're currently not using. And if you think that he's kind of washed and not great anyway, I don't want to say risk injury, but just throw anything at the wall. Let's see if it can work. This could be the last gasp for Zach Wilson's career as a New York Jet. So just throw it at the wall.
If it doesn't, doesn't work out as a Jet, it'll build trade value. If things start, oh, hey, we can use his legs, decision making is there, but it just doesn't work out for the Jets.
Dude, fingers crossed. Sam, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Akeem joining the show. Akeem, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, Ryan. How about yourself?
Dude, I'm hanging in there. Ooh, they're saying in the chat they think Nick Chubb may have tore his ACL. Oof. Brutal loss.
I was actually on this, did the call in about a few months ago, and this was not probably more than a few months ago. It was actually before we acquired Rodgers. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it kind of drives back to home that where are we at? After the last few callers, I kind of amalgamated a lot of what they're saying. I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, it's not just fully Zach. It is the offensive line. But I think one thing we have to look at is specifically we got a general manager who's supposed to be an offensive line guru. Do we not? That's supposed to be there. It's kind of just annoying because you've seen the same problems with Darnold. Why did Darnold see ghosts? Because that offensive line couldn't hold up. That's been a big issue. I think one of the callers said, yeah, I wish we could have the 2010 offensive line, but that's just not the case. My main argument here is I know we're banking on Rodgers. Historically, you're doing something like more amazing than like an NBA player coming back from like this gross injury and coming back in January. But let's just say he's ready for week 1 next season.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, if he has a good season, is he like realistically going to come back for a third year? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. So I'm looking at the fact of what is really our like it comes back like what is our long-term goal here? Because as many of the like divisiveness that's going on, I could just really say out, yeah, we know our offensive line is bad, and for one thing, Zach is not it. So, but at the end of the day, I think the faster retool maybe build this offensive line, because we can't bring in another guy in here and expect him to somehow do amazing. Like, I think that's just horrible. Like, I know that guys said like Case Keenum, somebody threw out Wentz. Like, I don't care how good their IQ is, they're going to struggle. Like, look at what has been going on. They're going to struggle. That's the case. I feel like we should probably keep Zach. And with this Rodgers situation, however it goes, we should start to like really invest in our offensive line, because at the end of the day, we might all be seeing like the end of Douglas and Salah probably in the next 2.5 years if things keep going the way they do. Like, realistically.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be
100%.
set.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I would invest everything you can in the offensive line, and then I would go out and I would say, all right, look, after Rodgers, we'll see if he wants to play 2 years, we got 2 years of Rodgers. But whenever Rodgers is done, pull the 49ers and just say, we're giving up all the picks, we're going to go up and go get a quarterback. Whatever it costs, we're going to go make the move. Like, because you got the young guys on contracts. By the time Rodgers is done, let's say 2 years for argument's sake, to give us like more of like a tougher kind of figure it out. If you have him for 2 years, that means all our young guns are going to be on big contracts at that point. So you got to hit on a young quarterback anyway. So at that point, the last opportunity you got is just go all in on a rookie at that point. It's just going to be tough if we have a good rookie quarterback sitting there come draft time, and the Jets are, twiddling their thumbs like, oh, we don't want to piss off Rodgers. Last time they drafted Jordan Love, and, he came over here for us. Like, I don't know how it's going to go, and I don't know if I necessarily want this regime to make the quarterback pick if they've already fucked it up once. Like, I don't know. I'm in a weird headspace with all of it. Akeem, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Got my boy Jet Engine tuning in. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, man? You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
All right, here's the deal. We keep talking about what happened, and we're not talking about why. Everybody keeps blaming the offensive line. We're talking about, oh, so-and-so didn't run the ball. They're not blocking. The why is that Zach cannot execute a short passing game. 32 teams in the NFL know that, including the New York Jets coaching staff. I'm just looking right now at a game from 2 years ago. I'm looking at some stats. The Bengals game when Mike White threw for 430 yards behind Chuma Adoga, Van Roten, McGovern, Fant was out. Elijah Vera Tucker was a rookie. How did we win that game? Because Mike White can drop back, hit his third step, and the ball is out. Zach Wilson cannot do that. Everybody knows it. Why couldn't we run on Sunday? Because the box was stacked. Because every coach in the league knows if you pressure Zach Wilson right up the middle constantly, he will panic. He cannot execute a short game. His mechanics fall apart. He starts airmailing and dirtballing, and it's done. Everybody knows it. And they know if you keep stacking the box, you take the run away, and you smash right up the middle, he is going to give you the ball 3 or 4 times a game. Period. The book is out. It's just like 2002 when the Raiders showed the entire league how to beat Chad Pennington. You don't blitz him and you don't play deep. You drop everybody back into the middle interim field, and he's done because he couldn't beat you over the top. But he was too smart and too quick with the ball to blitz him. Zach Wilson's done. He, as a pro, he is done. And anybody who's sitting here saying, oh, he ran 4 times for 36 yards, and look, he didn't throw the ball like 5 times into the ground. This isn't Pop Warner. I've been a fan since 74. I'm older than Green Bean, for fuck's sake. All right? Yeah, I don't look it. Whatever. You can't see me.
It's all right.
But I'll tell you what. He can't play. What do you think Belichick is going to do on Sunday?
Oh, they're going to send the heat.
Anything is going to be any different? We need a quarterback in this situation that knows He needs to get his head out of his ass. You hit that third step with your right foot and the ball is out. Mike White threw for 430 fucking yards doing that. Zach Wilson is incapable of doing that. He processes too slowly. His mechanics suck, and he panics. He looks great in practice. He looks great in shorts, but as soon as there's a live pass rush, he is done because he's fucking terrified of getting hit.
So
I'm sorry. I've been watching it. This offense is going nowhere with him because he cannot execute a modern short passing game. Done.
So what's
Game
the
over.
option? Like
There's
what?
my
Like
0
where do
seconds.
we go? Like what is? Who's
Right
the
now
quarterback?
we're fucked because they decided that Aaron Rodgers was not going to get hurt, and we're gonna babysit this kid and pretend he's in romper room and teach him how to play quarterback in year 3 in the league. That's absurd. If you want to do that, you stick him as the third quarterback. Tim Boyle is doing no one any good. Mm-hmm. It's too late. They should have brought somebody competent in because you know that Rodgers is 39 years old. Mm-hmm. You know that Laken Tomlinson and Connor McGovern are fucking sieves up front. So where do we go from here? Right now, we ride it out. But guess what? This is poor planning from Joe Douglas. Why the fuck did we need Dalvin Cook or McCall Hardman?
Look, you got to take a gamble. They gambled on Rodgers being healthy the whole year. He's been healthy the whole year, most of his career.
Agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
You can't bank on him not get the Achilles injury is just a freak accident. It's just it sucks. This was never the plan. They didn't want Zach to take a snap all season. That was the whole game plan. And you needed the roster
that was the whole game plan, was not to let this kid play at all. Sure. And here we are because they didn't prepare for it. Tim Boyle was his what is he? Rodgers' caddy. Come on.
Yeah, right. That's what it feels like.
This is the fact that this kid cannot drop back and execute. I mean, he hit one slant in the last 3 years and it went for a freaking touchdown because Garrett Wilson is Garrett Wilson. But that's a fluke. That's a super blue moon. I mean, it doesn't happen because he's incapable of doing that. We don't know. I don't know why. I'm not in his head. He should be at this point in his career. Instead of running backwards or self-sacking the Geno Smith style where he's running out of bounds 2 yards short of where the line of scrimmage was, which he just did again.
I saw that.
Quick passes. Now, the problem is that the Jets coaching staff is just as aware of this as Belichick and McCarthy and everybody else in the league. They can't They can't play a proper NFL offense because they know the kid can't execute it. It is what it is. And everybody says, oh, well, he had that one pass. Yeah, one pass. This is the pros. Mike White, who gets folded in half every time he's on the field, is smart enough as an undrafted guy from Eastern Kentucky that when that third foot hits, the ball is out. You can't sit there. And then we're blaming the offensive line, who's getting, number one, Dallas is a better defensive line than ours, period. But they're stacking the box on every single play, saying, we're going to take the run away from you. We're going to have you panicking in the pocket. And we know that you cannot beat us. So we're done with it.
But they weren't even really sending extra dudes. It was just their front four. It was just
they ran a lot of 5-man rush.
Dude, we should be able to man up on them. We have 5 offensive linemen too. And for whatever reason, we just cannot do it.
I agree, but when you bring up the stat that Zach Wilson has pressured 70% of his dropbacks, no shit, because they're bringing pressure on 100% of them. There is no rush 4, and then we're going to play coverage.
It's not extra guys though. That's the thing. They're not sending extra players to cause the pressure. They're causing pressure with no one. That's on the offensive line.
There were plenty of defensive backs like the Cowboys were sending on Sunday.
There were definitely opportunities. I'd love to see what the actual blitz percentage was because it didn't feel like they were. I mean, obviously it felt like all day they were sending extra guys, but I'm pretty sure it was no more than 5 guys most of the time.
Most of the time, agreed. But be that as it may, the Patriots are not Dallas. They're going to rush 6 guys every single drop back and watch what
Zach's got to make them pay. That's that's the only solution is Zach has to sack up.
He's incapable, Ryan.
I know.
Right, he's incapable.
Jet Engine, I love you. I'm going to eject you because I want to get to some more callers. I got a long list here. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I get where you're coming from. I 100% get where you're coming from. IGCSR says Zach will be out of the league in a few years. Sad, but true. I mean, I can't really defend the guy. The best thing I have for him is that the offensive line was so piss poor yesterday that like it's hard to grade Zach. Like that's the only thing I can fucking say. Hennessy says you do realize we would have lost with Rodgers too. That is kind of my point. Like there was no winning yesterday regardless of who was quarterback. Now maybe you say like, okay, Dallas might not have sent 4 or 5 guys. Maybe with Rodgers, or with another quarterback, I don't know. I think they're still sending pressure like crazy. Like I think Danny Dimes is a halfway decent quarterback, and they beat the ever-living piss out of him 2 weeks ago. Joe, welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
I'm trying to hang in there. Just sucks. I don't know what to do. We're 2 weeks into the fucking season.
Listen, your last comments, your last man. Excuse me, had something in my throat. The last man who just gave a comment, he's old school. He was pretty much accurate with his analysis, but let's be honest. When is the last fucking time the Jets ever had a great head coach? When?
Now, you're not a Saleh fan? Is that what you're kind of getting at here?
No, but even before that, Rex Ryan was great for 2 years. That's it. When have we ever had a great fucking coach? And he should know better. Weber, since the Jets won a Super Bowl?
Parcells?
Okay. Yeah.
Look,
but he already was a coach with the Giants. He already won a Super Bowl.
I really like Robert Saleh. I'll be honest, I really like Robert Saleh. He's got his shortcomings for sure, but like players want to play for him. That's like one of the key things I look for in a head coach.
My point is though, when is the last time we started off with it, we developed a coach and he was great? There never has been one. That's it. We had Bill Parcells, who already was proven. He won 2 Super Bowls already and was in a Super Bowl with the Patriots. So, I mean, the old timer that gave a very good analysis, in my opinion, but you have to understand, we haven't had a great coach to develop these kids for a long time. And the quarterback position is the most important position. I mean, we had Todd Bowles, couldn't develop Sam Darnold. We had Mike McCagnon as GM, couldn't get things done with the offensive line. We had what's his name? Adam Gase, couldn't develop a quarterback. We had Robert Saleh having the same problem, can't develop a quarterback, and Joe Douglas seems to be dropping the ball.
It's a chicken and egg conversation, though, right? Like, is it the coach that can't develop the quarterback, or is it the quarterback that can't shake it in the NFL?
I think honestly, a lot of these fucking college coaches don't know how to develop quarterbacks. They're not NFL ready. There's generational quarterbacks every now and then that show up, like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, but there's not a lot of them. So it's a big gamble when you draft quarterbacks. I mean, Justin Fields was highly touted, and you know what? He's not doing that great in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence is a generational quarterback. Last week, he didn't do that good. I see too many inconsistencies with these quarterbacks. I don't think the college is getting these quarterbacks ready.
Joe, thank you so much for the call. You have been ejected from the cockpit. And Jet Engine wants to tell you, hey, easy with the old timer stuff. I'm only 53. Jet Engine, you look great from here. I love you. Good analysis. We got our boy Charles joining the chat. Charles, how you doing tonight?
We had some interesting callers, haven't we, Ryan?
Fans are frustrated. Fans are frustrated. How are you feeling after yesterday's loss?
I want to get, first of all, the last Jets head coach to win a Super Bowl was Ebe Eubank, not Ebe Weber. Second of all,
right.
Trevor Lawrence had a great year last year. He was phenomenal last year. I understand last week he wasn't very good, but look, I understand a lot of people are saying that Zach Wilson is a bust and all this other shit, and I understand that. But the thing is that, you know, I like Solis as a person, but he still, to me, has yet to really establish himself as a really good head coach. I get it. People want to play for him. But the thing is, you got to be an X and O's type of guy. That's how I feel. That's what Mike Tomlin is, in my opinion. That's what Bill Parcells was. That's what Bill Belichick is. So,
Charles, lots of dead air here. Boom, you're ejected. Come on, Charles. Give me a little more than that. Want some fire. No dead air. Got too many people on the line want to voice their opinion. Angry Mike comes in. Angry Mike, how you doing tonight?
Good, brother. I just want to say, listen, Jet fans, we can be two different types of people. We can be the people that always think negative about this team, or we try to build up this fucking kid, okay? I don't give a fuck who was back there. You can combine Dan Marino with Patrick Mahomes. He would have got his knee fucking shattered, all right? It's not on that kid. Can you imagine? Just sit back and remember that Bills game 4 fucking plays in, all right? 4 fucking plays in. Millions of people across the fucking globe said, Jesus fucking Christ, this kid's coming in right now. And Zach Wilson, no, millions of fucking people were thinking that. And somehow he got to skew that bitch. And yes, did he get his asshole torn up from a defense that was fucking amazing because Dwayne Brown's sitting there playing fucking patty cake? I'd rather he would have dove at his fucking legs. Let Tim Boyle come in and get fucking murdered. At least then it would have been on the newspapers that a guy died not because of fucking a heart attack, but because 8 guys killed him, including Micah Parsons. I'm done with this shit. I really am, man. This New York fucking Jets team, you got old timers. I'm a mid-timer, man. I jumped on when Boomer Esiason jumped on thinking we were on the gravy train. I've been disappointed ever fucking since. All right? But we got to get behind this kid. The Patriots fucking suck this year. Did you see Belichick throwing that red flag down? That guy don't want to even be out there, dude. It's great.
Like a fucking angry mom at Walmart. Just fucking... Ugh.
It was great. I've never seen him. And then he goes to his press conference and he's the usual fucking dickhead. He just can't figure out how to cheat his way through this fucking season. We gotta win next week. We gotta win this week, man. If we fucking lose to this fucking garbage team, we really are in trouble. I'm gonna let some other people get on because I'm out of fucking breath. But let's go, guys. Let's fucking go.
Angry Mike, you live up to your name. That was a hell of a call. I did enjoy that. Get behind your guy, right? Darnold was better than Wilson, says Mike D. You're not wrong. Not wrong. I wish we could have flip-flopped the order that we wound up having him for. Jet Engine says, wah. If Zach needs me to build him up, he's already done. Stop it. The anger guy thing only works when you have a valid point. I mean, his point is that we don't have anyone else. Like, Zach is the guy. He's the guy that's under center. We have to back him. Now, behind the doors, which is what we should be, like, kind of speculating as fans, we should be speculating, hey, what's Douglas trying to do? He's got to make a move. Does he think the quarterback is the right move? Does he think that getting a Kirk Cousins or getting a Jacoby Brissett or something like that, is there some way to spark this offense? Because the team is good. Does Breece Hall have more lanes to run through without Zach as quarterback? I've been saying I like Zach's talent. Like, his physical gifts are just wow. And it pops off the page, but it's between the ears. Everything between the ears. For whatever reason, it's the short passing game. He throws everything 100 miles an hour. It's the happy feet in the backfield. To Jet Engine's point, he was saying Mike White, he didn't have a good offensive line. He had 400 fucking yards. That's a really good point. I have a hard time counteracting that. I don't know. I don't know the right answer anymore. Fabian joins the show. Fabian, how you doing tonight?
I'm going to try to split the difference between the last two guys. Keep it somewhere in the middle.
Perfect.
We went from
Love
0
it.
to 100. Yeah, listen, I'm gonna just be half glass full. I'm disappointed yesterday, but short week. I went through a roller coaster of emotions that Monday night, and yeah, I was still exhausted by Sunday. So a short week playing one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. I was disappointed by a few things. I'll tell you two positives, and tell me what you think. In the first half, even with that pressure, his footwork looked pretty good. It looked like he was sliding in and out of the pocket, and that last drive before the half, he took off when he was supposed to. And I know he only got 2 receptions. There seems to be a slight chemistry finally building between the two Wilsons. It's getting there, and that's going to be important when he gets to the line, and he could give him a personal signal if he sees man coverage and send him deep. I think that's going to be important. The coaching, everything else was horrendous.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. The Wilson to Wilson connection. If that does wind up hitting, like if Garrett can trust Zach and Zach can trust Garrett, like you see one-on-one, just fucking throw it up. Dude, Garrett is so friggin' talented. Like, I trust him to come down with the ball 9 times out of 10. I thought for sure Garrett was going to get that one pass that Diggs, like, swatted out. Now, if Zach had gotten it a little bit further, it didn't look like he was able to step up as far as he wanted to. It looked like maybe Laken Tomlinson got pushed back into him.
Yes.
So he was able to, like, go forward, but it wasn't, like, the full kind of stride that you would have liked to have seen. And it would have been right in Wilson's breadbasket. Diggs just made a great play on the ball.
Oh, the other one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but the 3 plays that they would have turned the game around was obviously Sauce Gardner, the one where Zach Wilson got his arm hit before the half. And then here's an underrated play. They fake the punt. Then they have to punt themselves. Then they had to really punt, but they pinned them back to the 5. Then they get the penalty to the 2.5, and the first down on the 2.5 yard line, they hit for a 30-yard. I think that switched the plays. Real quick.
Hey, sorry, could you say that one more time? You cut out briefly. Say that one more time. Fabian, I'm catching every other word. If I see your comment in the chat, I'll try to throw it up on screen, but I'm going to eject you from the cockpit. Take it easy, brother.
You're out of here.
Some good points made. I wish I could have heard that last one there. J-Boy comes in. J-Boy says, if you was going to lose a game early, this was the one. Yeah, look, NFC game, that's the one I'd rather lose. If I can turn it around and I can beat the Patriots, if you can beat Denver, go into the bye week 3-3, I don't think anyone has any delusions about us going toe-to-toe with Kansas City at this point. Or Philadelphia. I think you got a chance against the Patriots. I think you got a chance against Dallas. Or not against Dallas, sorry, against Denver. But man, this next game against the Pats, this feels like a must-win. Otherwise, things are going to spiral real fast. Got Lima Bean joining on the show. What's up, Lima Bean? How you doing?
I know I only have 3 minutes, but I might need a little more. I've been brewing this for like 2 weeks.
Lima Bean, fix your microphone real quick. Give me a second.
Can you hear me better?
Nope. Try it again. You're like, it's like clipping. It's like sputtering.
That's cool. All right, 1 second.
If I see you here, let me eject you, and then when I see you pop back in, I'll have you skip the line because you've been waiting a while. I'm gonna boot him real fast. Get to some super chats before we get Lima Bean back in here. Then I got Realistic Jets fan. I got Wyatt. I've got Alan, and I got Juan coming up. Craig comes in, says Zach stats 6 of 27, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Wait for it. So that's what he's calling for this upcoming week. Fingers crossed. I would take that in a heartbeat. B. West. LaFleur was sacrificial lamb for Wilson's failures. Yeah, I think that's spot on. I do think that's absolutely what happened. All right, Lima Bean. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right, cool. Fire away.
No, this has been brewing for me for since the last 2 weeks. You know, I am already it's been 2 weeks and I'm I'm exhausted from the season. And that's how I feel. Emotionally drained. Like, I just can't. I'm still pissed off at Vinny Testaverde. I know it's irrational.
For being at the game, right?
Like, why? Well, you couldn't get Joe Klecko to, like, say, hey, it's a new time, new things. Things are getting better.
Yep.
Like, we got the one guy who embodies the whole point of failed season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't we bring Joe Theismann to a freaking Commanders game every time and see their quarterback get crushed? That happened to Alex Smith, actually. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, brutal. It's like,
it's
like, what is it? Time is a circle, and you just keep catching the tail end of it, and it just keeps repeating, just in different ways.
Yeah, for the next game, when Aaron Rodgers comes back, let's bring freaking Chad Pennington and Brett Favre so we can both get his shoulders messed up too, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm pissed off at that. I'm pissed off at Frank Gore still for, trying to claim that he wanted to win for the team, but then the minute he got his yards, he sat down. He only wanted to win because he didn't want to go 0-16. He didn't give a damn about Trevor Lawrence or the future of his organization, and he didn't care about the players learning to win. I'm still pissed off about that. There needs to be an investigation of the Jaguars and how they sat everybody down and nobody bats an eye. That was a tank job as it gets, and the players were in on it. Like, it's just, I don't know. The code.
Dude, I wish Braden Mann was in on it.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny. The Bills had something to play for, and their punter gave out for us to score the touchdown. Our punter, I don't know why. That's the one thing he did, and it was awful. I'm still pissed off that. I'm pissed off at Dwayne Brown for I get it. They let him rehab away from the facility, but you know what? Most of this O-line didn't play, and it shows. They need hardcore training camps to be here. We got to stop being loyal to veterans. And you know what? I understand that he got his gold jacket and everything. Not gold jacket, but just he played with one arm, and that deserves something. But
it's the football equivalent of the Purple Heart, right?
Yeah, Laken Tomlinson, someone unplugged his controller in Madden, and that's how he's playing. It's just, I don't understand. It's not for lack of trying. And then the worst part is now we're going to get the anti-JD crowds. Do you want to go back to picking up 10 defensive tackles and a 3-4 scheme that has no effect and then 30 safeties? Do you remember those? We actually drafted a wide receiver in the first round. That felt good, didn't it? It's just, we're a Super Bowl contender for a reason. I'm not saying he's been perfect. The O-line needs to get a lot better, but and I'm not on the Zach bandwagon by any stretch. He didn't play good, but honestly, he didn't look that bad when he had 2 seconds, which is crazy to say, I don't know. I'm pissed off.
I'm hoping we see a change this week. I can't go in and see a 15th loss to the Patriots.
I can't. I was looking for
love you, but boom, you've been ejected from the cockpit. I want to throw up some super chats real quick. Then we've got Realistic Jet Fan, Wyatt, Juan, and then Alan. Craig says, look at all your pass video. Zach was tremendous. I felt like he looked all right. The issue is what Jet Engine's saying. They're stacking the box, and his all right is on broken plays and the lucky throw to Garrett. I don't know. He looks from a confidence perspective, up until the fourth quarter, looked different than last year. But I felt like the play calling tells me they don't trust Zach. And that is a big problem. That's the bigger part of the issue for me than I think Zach's play yesterday. Rob comes in and says, Coach should let Gardner float the field with Lamb. Also, even with A-Rod, he would have gotten hurt by Parsons had he not last game. Good luck this year, DCFL. Dude, I appreciate the super chat, and I agree. I do think that Gardner, it's weird calling him that. Sauce should follow the best player's receiver. I'm sick of this bullshit of having, Nnamdi Asama only played one side of the field. Richard Sherman plays one side of the field. The easiest way to combat the best defensive player on the fucking field is to make sure your wide receiver is not up against him. And guess what? If he travels, you're going to have one man on one man. That's what I want. I don't want Brandon Eccles on fucking CeeDee Lamb. Drives me up a fucking wall. Jet Engine comes in and says, Jets O-line for Mike White's 428-yard game. Edoga, AVT, McGovern, Van Roten, Morgan Moses. Skill players, Michael Carter, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole, Ty Johnson, Tyler Effin Croft. Offensive coordinator LaFleur, enough excuses. It's hard to argue with that point. Like, of all the points that I've had made on this show, or people saying Zach is not the dude, like, this one of all takes is the fucking winner. Like, I'm trying to, like, hold my own. I'm saying, like, look, the offensive line was shit. Absolute dog poo yesterday. And I do think Zach could have performed better. But part of the reason why the offensive line was so bad was because they didn't have to, like, the Dallas defense didn't have to cover. There's no threat of Zach. That is real. Zach has to make the New England Patriots pay when he has the opportunities. We have to be able to run the ball. Fucking run the ball behind your two best offensive linemen in Mekhi Becton and AVT, and use Breece Hall. You're using all three of your fucking best players. Run behind the right side of that line. And then get the playmakers the ball in space. Mike White's good at that. 1, 2, 3, balls out. Let's see some more of it. Douglas comes in and says, I'm afraid people are watching Zach in year 3 through year 1 and year 2 lenses. You aren't seeing the 5-yard fastballs, happy feet, holding the ball too long, etc. you saw first 2 seasons. That's the thing that I'm seeing, right? Like, I'm doing my every throw video, and I've seen, like, every play 4 times before I even, like, hop on a stream. And objectively looking at it, it's like, okay, the coaching staff realizes our best play. There's 2 ways to look at it, right? Like, it's the coaching staff realizes Zach can't get it done, and they're afraid to call a play for him. Or 2, they realize our best players are Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, and we got to, well, obviously Garrett Wilson as well, but this team is built to run the ball. Let's run the ball with our 2 best players, or 2 of our best players in Breece and Cook. And, like, that does make sense to me. But if the other team's defense isn't respecting Zach, then you're not going to have the room to run with those guys. And if you're going backwards on first down, first down run goes backwards 3 yards, and now all of a sudden you got 2nd and 13. Guess what? Now you got to rely on Zach. Unless you're just going to run it again, then you're going into, like, what's an average run? Let's call it a good one, 6 yards. Then you're going into a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 7 at that point. I'm hoping we see more out of Zach this week. I would like to definitively say, hey, this team is great, except for the quarterback. But yesterday, it didn't feel like this team was great outside of the quarterback. And I'm hoping it's just because Dallas is a Super Bowl contender. Craig says, I froze all throws at 2 seconds. Prove stats I wrote. Interesting. So you're saying if he gets the ball out in 2 seconds, or are you saying, I think that's where I'm a little lost, Craig. Let's see. He says, look at your video. It's proof he was tremendous. I'll go back and rewatch it and pause at the 2-second mark, but I don't know if that's getting it done. Bro, we can't lose to New England again. Dude, I can't lose to New England. Can't. Jet Engine says, hey, Doug, can I get a winning lotto number? Thanks. Jet Engine's upset with you, Doug. He brings up Jet Engine brings up a really good point with the Mike White stuff. Craig comes in and says, you will see something like 17 of 27, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Throw in the drops, and it would be 19 of 27, 290 or more, and 3 touchdowns or more. Your video proves it. Do what I did, you'll see. So you're saying because of the drops, I'd have to go back and see how many drops we actually had. Breece had 2, but you're kind of assuming yardage without seeing if the guy would have been tackled earlier. I think that's what you're getting at. It's almost like an adjusted completion percentage, which I actually do like. I think adjusted completion percentage is a stat that we should use more frequently because it shows you just how accurate a quarterback is, which I did look at Zach's for week 1, and I remember it being like pretty decent. I'll have to look it up for week 2 because I didn't look at it this time around. I mean, are you assuming that maybe like outside of like the hit arm, that Garrett Wilson play that like fluttered to the goal line, that would have been a touchdown? Like if you're saying like in a best case scenario, like maybe if we're not playing Dallas, that's what the stat line could have looked like. I hope we get to see something like that against New England. I really do. Jet Engine, tremendous. Jet Engine is a little salty. He doesn't like anyone that's supporting Zach right now. He's seen enough. He's seen enough. All right, let's hop over to Realistic Jets fan. Thank you for waiting. How you doing, brother? Realistic Jet fan. I hope I didn't make you fall asleep over there. Realistic Jet fan going once. Realistic Jet fan going twice. Bye-bye. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Craig says, just do it. Pass interception, tip passes, do it, please. All right, I'll go back and I'll look. Because you said that, Craig, I want to take a look at it. All right, I'm going to go back to Realistic Jet fan. I got you loud and clear now, Realistic Jet fan.
Okay, Ryan, what is wrong with this fan base? It's like a majority of this fan base, whoever thinks that Zach Wilson's a legitimate quarterback and should even be in this league, they've been put into a cult. I swear they need to be brainwashed. I don't know what it sees. And you're not as bad as some of the other Jets content provider, but I need to decode you as well. This kid played for BYU, a crap school. He had one decent year, a COVID year, didn't play in front of any fans. If you ask any fan that watched that team, and I did, he's the same quarterback there as he's the same quarterback here, except that he basically had a great offensive line and played against crap. What Joe
His
Douglas
offensive line was all, they were all like 24-year-old guys going up against college youths, because those are all like guys that go on missions prior to going to college.
They're all Mormons. They go on 2-year missions. They come back there. He was a 3-star athlete. Joe Douglas thought he might be getting Patrick Mahomes because it basically fit the same bill. How many years do we need to see the same quarterback? There's a very short window here. So this is what it's like. Hear me out. Everybody listening, and Ryan, you know it too. You've all seen it. We've all played Little League. And we've all been on that team with the guy who can't hit. And basically, if he does make contact with the ball, it's going to be a ground ball to the pitcher. And you know all of our faces up when he's up. And you know that if you're playing against that person, the outfield comes in. The infield comes in. And, you know, every once in a while, he's going to pop one over your head, but it's probably not going to cost you. That's the Dallas Cowboys as the opponent. They basically said, we're going to just stack this line. This kid can't do anything, and if he does something, it's not going to cost us. And you get to see on the Jets sideline when they're 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, you watch the defense's face, you watch the offense's face. They have no confidence in this kid. Opponents don't respect him. And why? Why in the world this fan base is like, even you just said a couple of minutes ago, we got to see more. Do you realize you've been saying that? This is 3 years now? We got to see more?
Well,
when is
put
it
this
enough?
way, right? Like you and Jet Engine both bring up good points, but what is the answer right now? Like, are you just like, who are we bringing in?
The answer is anybody else. This kid has proven he doesn't have it. We can't. We're 21-47, I believe, under Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas, I don't know what his problem is that he needs to be the smartest guy in the room, and Robert Saleh's got to shove this kid down our throat every week. He doesn't have it. He doesn't see the field as well. He doesn't process information. I don't know what to bring in, but I know what's not going to work. And we are going to be in last place again. We're going to keep the record for missing the playoffs. We are the worst team in the division. We are out-coaching every game, and we're already underdogs to the winless Patriots. So if people think Vegas is smart, Vegas has us as an underdog at home. We've got the short window with an overrated defense because Jet fans love to overrate their defense, but we've got a good defense, and now we have a quarterback that's ruining it because everybody looks at the quarterback. Everyone admits it's the most important position on the team, yet tell me a quarterback that you wouldn't take any starter right now over Zach Wilson. Of all the 30,
I mean, look, I can't, right? Like, okay, Zach Wilson's been the worst quarterback since he's come into the league. He's been horrible. But, like, right now, we don't have a quarterback. So, like, I'm fine with bringing in a quarterback. You just got to tell me who it is. Like, if you can get anyone in here, it's just like, are you going to throw out, like, is Carson Wentz the answer right now? Is that what we should just do and go out and get him?
I just, let's go see somebody else. We know what we have with Zach Wilson. We know he can't process the field. We know the teammates don't love him. I mean, Garrett Wilson's going to basically say, I want to be traded soon. What has happened to our last number 2 draft picks that were wide receivers? They're not here. Joe Douglas came here to fix an offensive line and a quarterback. He hasn't done it. What happened to the GMs that basically brought in Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, Hackenberg,
Look,
Darnold.
yeah, but
all
they
of them were
fucked
fired.
up in
But
every
this
other
fan
single
base-
aspect of the game. Like Joe Douglas, look, I do not want to go back to a GM prior to Joe Douglas. I really firmly believe, as much as like you miss on Zach, like as much as you miss on Zach and the offensive line has sucked, like it is not for a lack of trying. Fucking Becton, broken down for 2 years. AVT looks legit. You have fucking Lakin Tomlinson, who's a Pro Bowler, all of a sudden turns into a pumpkin when he gets here. Like Joe Douglas has tried. He's gone after Tooney. He's gone after Brown. He's gone after Jack Conklin. Like it's not like for a lack of trying. He's trying to throw money at the problem to fix it. And it's just for whatever reason, we're just getting snake bit.
Joe
like
Douglas
I understand tossing the quarterback to the side.
looking for deals.
Douglas is the one that like I am like I will go to war for Joe Douglas right now. Between his waiver wire pickups, his trades, his draft picks for the I want to say for the most part, but man, that fucking 2020 draft was rough.
Last place
draft.
every season.
Like
we've been in last place every season under Joe Douglas. I don't
we were
understand
in last
what
place
you're
before that
about
too. Realistic Jet fan. You're not wrong. You're too real. You're too real to me right now. It hurts. It hurts. Craig says, I'm not rich. Don't make me say it anymore. Him and Jet Engine going back and forth. Jet Engine says, Richard Todd, O'Brien, Nagel, Oldesiason, O'Donnell, Foley, Sanchez, Gino, Darnold, and on and on. Yeah, I've seen enough. Oh, this guy gets it. Yeah, Jet Engine agreeing with our last caller. Craig says, all you doubters, do what I did and then tell me he didn't have a tremendous, accurate, spectacular game under incredible stress and pressure because of all the passes. We have receipts. Please, you guys. Craig, I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewatch it. You're making me feel good, but I know what I saw with my own eyes, and I saw a coaching staff that was afraid to let Zach throw the ball early on, and it allowed Dallas to come down into the box. They were going to do that anyway because Dak hasn't really, proved it outside of that. I do feel like we've seen a different quarterback. He doesn't feel like the same guy as last year, but I can't keep making excuses. He's going to play this week. He has to exercise the demons against the Patriots. He has to. I want to see him come out and actually have a game. I want to win because of Zach Wilson. Not hide him and win because of all our other players. Please do it. I'm not rich. I'm going broke here. Receipts. Craig, I got you. I understand. I got you. All right. We'll go back to some callers. I'm going to go longer than 10 o'clock tonight. We got Wyatt on the phone. Wyatt, how you doing tonight, brother? Wyatt, your microphone. I think you're muted. Nope, not now. Keep trying. I'm gonna look at some.
Hear me now,
some
this time?
Ah, there we go. Ha, Yahtzee.
Sorry, my default mic on my computer is all sorts of screwed up. It won't use my Yeti microphone. Don't know why.
All good, brother. Good to talk to you.
I know you. Yeah, dude, I haven't seen you forever. You see the shirt that you sent me? It's freaking awesome.
I was gonna say, I think the last time we talked was on that Green Bean stream.
It was an 8-hour stream too. That was insane.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not as negative as a lot of people are. I'm from Wyoming. I don't have that spicy New Yorker attitude. But like, I really don't think people listen. Every team's gonna get destroyed, right? The Giants lost 0-40. Can you imagine if that happened to the Jets right now? Like the comments in the beginning, they came back next week and won. It's not the end of the world. Our offensive line looked bad. I'm sure they're going to take care of it. Zach Wilson, everybody I think is living in the past right now. And I get it. I understand it. I've been a fan since Zach Wilson got drafted. That's when I became a fan. I've watched him suffer, right? He's not the best quarterback, but he played well in this last game. And he played well against the Bills. Yes, he threw some interceptions in the fourth quarter. He was throwing Hail Mary balls at that point. He was just trying to put something together. You guys are looking at Zach Wilson and you're judging him by 2020, 21, and 22. And I understand that's what we have to judge him on. But he does not look like the same quarterback this year as he did last year. The confidence is back. You can see it. And yes, the coaches don't trust him yet. I wouldn't either. But you notice they loosened up a little bit towards the end and they let him unwind a little bit. And he made some good plays. And it's hard. Like, I know you guys don't get it, but if you were Zach Wilson, you'd be running for your fucking life out there. Those like defensive linemen were destroying him. And I don't know if you guys watched the Bills games last year. Zach has taken some hefty hits in the last 2 weeks. So I don't think it's fair to judge him by the previous season's standards. He's a good kid. He's got good work ethic, and he's getting better. You don't just throw away a good quarterback with a high ceiling when he's getting better just because you lost.
Well, see, there's the piece, right? Like the guys that are saying throw him away, they're saying he's not a good quarterback. So like, I get what you're saying. It's the talent. It's the good traits that are there, and he's a little block of clay. Like in my perspective, we've already burnt the number 2 overall pick on him. Like, let's let him learn. Let's see what happens. Like, now, if you don't want to have him start right now, that's totally fine. And if you want to bail on him at some point, like, I get that too. But, like, at least right now, I don't know. He's your answer for right this second.
I just think it's very short-sighted to throw him away. People are very impatient nowadays with quarterbacks. They see someone like Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen, they think every quarterback needs to be ready to go week 1. Like, how many quarterbacks from Zach Wilson's
but we're
draft
3
class
years
are good
in now.
right
Like that. Like,
hey, I'm just saying. I think I wouldn't argue for Zach unless he had shown me something. He showed us something in these first 2 games. He beat the Bills, all right, and he was one of the only players that looked like they were even trying on the offense in that last game. Him and Zach, or him and Brees, him and Wilson. Him and Garrett Wilson were the only players that looked like they were trying. I just want everybody to look at every throw from Zach Wilson. He threw accurate passes under pressure. He had a few bad ones, but I'm telling you, he doesn't look the same. Thanks for having me on.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Wyatt. And I think the every pass can be a little deceiving from the standpoint of how the game was called, right? Like if the coaching staff is afraid to call plays because of Zach's potential shortcomings, that is a serious problem. I hope that's not the case. I hope the plan was just hey, we got to run.
But I think they're going to loosen up with him. I really do. I think he showed them something. And if you saw the Robert Saleh press conference, I think it was today or yesterday, he said he has a lot more faith in him now. He said that on the podium. I think they're going to loosen up for him.
I got my fingers crossed. Wait until after
next week to start panicking. We're 1-1. You guys, every time we lose, Jets fans are like, it's over. The season's over. Everyone sucks. We need to fire all the coaches. We need to draft and do everything. And what do you want to do about the offensive line? Who could they have pulled in that they didn't already?
Boom! You're ejected, brother. Ejected. Douglas says on behalf of Craig, I think he wants you to rewatch the video. I mean, I'm not going to pull the video up right now because then the whole stream gets demonetized. But I will 100% go back and rewatch it. And I'll be on here with Green Bean tomorrow and O'Leary, and we'll talk about it. Craig says, I'm now officially broke. Just do what I did, and you will see spectacular. Aside from Mahomes and Lamar, nobody could have done what he did. All you guys do what I did, you will see. Craig, make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Tuesday show, because I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at the every throw video, and I'm going to take a look at certain things. I'll try to rationalize what you're telling us right here, because you're giving me hope. You're giving me hope. I hope it's not false hope, but you're giving me hope. Juan comes in. Thank you so much for hanging out, Juan. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, Ryan?
Dude, I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, that offensive line was terrible, like everybody's saying, but I do agree with the last caller. The one thing I'm concerned with is a little bit with this coaching staff. I think they don't trust Zach a little bit. And, like, that offensive line, they were having a rough day the other day. Where was the help out Zach? Like, where's that max protection? Like, you want to run these big packages? Where's these two route combinations and all that? We have Lazard. Where's these 50-50 balls at to help out these guys? You know?
Some of it is just like, if you want long developing plays, the offensive line just can't sustain their blocks. Like that is part of it. I think what you want to see is the heavy sets, kind of like what you were just saying. I think that's what you were trying to get at with like the 2 tight ends. Like, put some guys in line to help block. If the tackles can't get it done, add 2 more tight ends. It's all right. We want to run the ball. We want to play with tight ends anyway. Like, let's just have Garrett on one side and you have Lazard on the other, and just stack 2 tight ends in there, and let's play big boy ball.
Yeah, especially after the second half. Like, I felt like, especially when we were only down by 1 score, it's like, you know, we had them somewhat, like, you know, Zach was running around. Like, we only did 1 boot play and you never saw it again. And then another thing I'm kind of concerned is, like you said earlier, Lamb, best receiver. They put him everywhere you can think of on the field. I don't know. I didn't see it this last game, but do you feel like we do it for Wilson? Like he's usually outside, and then that's it.
No, look, I don't think that's the problem. The problem I had with Lamb is that we didn't put our best defender or at least our best corner on him. Like I want Sauce to travel with him. Sauce like matches up with Lamb really well. And it would have been nice to see him travel with Lamb. I don't want to see Lamb on Brandon Eccles. Like if I'm Dak, I'm throwing that ball 100% of the time because I trust Lamb to beat Eccles every single time.
No, I do agree with that, but to help out Zach is like maybe put Wilson in the slot, little drag route, quick drop back or something to help Wilson out.
You got to put him in motion. I want to see a little more Hardman too, to be honest. I feel like he's got some elite speed that you have to at least account for. Like give the defense a little bit more to think about. Like right now they're just saying, okay, Zach can't beat us. They're going to run the ball. Let's stack the box. Like that's all they're doing. At least if you have some other weapons out there that kind of like, I don't know, maybe you scare them with a jet sweep or something like that. At least get them so they're not pinning their ears back.
No, there's no sweep. It's just, it seems like the receivers just two go on one side, you go on the other side, and let's just
boom, Juan. Thank you so much for the call. I've got Alan, then Jake, then Omar coming up. Garrett says, Salah is an inspirational quote wearing a headset. I do like when I hear Robert Salah talk. It does make me smile. It feels like he's always got something motivational to say. I feel like he's hiding some of the, he's doing all the coach speak, right? Real quick, before I jump into some more calls, I do want to acknowledge the sponsor of today's stream. And that is Underdog Fantasy. If you guys are not playing Underdog Fantasy, it is a lot of fun. I'm having a blast. New Jersey, you can't do the pick'em side of things, which is like the select each one of 5 things and things multiply. It's awesome. But they'll match $100 for your first deposit if you use promo code JETS247. Helps the channel. They'll want to hang out, be a sponsor a little bit longer, hopefully. But I'm having a lot of fun. Now, I got screwed. This is 2 weeks in a row. I got to stop picking Jets for this stuff. So I've got, originally I had Tua going over 264.5. That did not happen. He had 249. I had Breece Hall getting more than 37.5 rushing yards. Going against Dallas, I thought for sure he'd be able to get that. Like, I thought we were going to see a heavy dose of him. He only had 4 carries. Blew up for me. I thought Zach was going to get higher than 11.95 fantasy points. 11.4. Fucking shot. Daniel Jones and Joe Burrow, they came through for me. Joe Burrow was the freebie slot. He only had to have half a yard in that game. Go down to my other matchup. It was, let's see, Aubrey getting 1.5 field goals. I had the over on that. I had the under on receptions for CeeDee Lamb. As soon as I saw CeeDee Lamb get like 5 receptions on the first fucking drive, I was like, well, that was a bad move. Zach screwed me on the fantasy points again. Tua, not getting the yards. Screwed me. Breece screwed me. I did not do well in pick'em this week, boys and girls. Not good at all. Not good at all. But it is fun. I do like thinking I know what I'm talking about half the time. All right. Throw Douglas up here real quick. Douglas says, YouTube super chats get expensive, but then again, so is any form of therapy. I guess that's one thing, right? Like, would you rather pay your therapist $200 or throw a few super chats in here and piss some people off? I appreciate the super chats. I'll say that much. Thank you, Douglas. All right, we got Alan joining the show. Alan, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
I'm hanging in there. Hanging in there.
So I'm it's funny because I was actually on a stream with Wyatt yesterday after the game with Green Bean, and he was saying a lot of the stuff that I wanted to say, that you're looking at Zach Wilson where he's actually getting some coaching and room to develop that you did not get with Mike LaFleur. And you're already seeing the dividends, even though, he's only played one game. He's had very little time with the starting offense. The offensive line hasn't really had time to gel this year. And, he's starting, Zach is starting to step up into the pocket. He's making better throws. Yeah, it went off the rails in the fourth quarter, but, nobody's expecting Zach to be able to play hero ball at the moment. But I think we're seeing dividends already on very little coaching up to this point, and so I do think that there's a lot of hope going forward with Zach, and I don't understand why, especially on the offensive side of the coaching, they just let Dwayne Brown be a turnstile all night. It could have been, they should have had extra tight ends. I mean, they played 3 tight ends week 1 against the Bills. Like, I don't even know what the number of snaps was, but it was a lot. And I don't think they did it once this game. And like you said, you get McCole Hardman out there with some jet sweeps behind some 5 offensive linemen, 2-3 tight ends out there, and you can make some things happen, especially on that right side. And
I feel
so
like
it's just
the Jets want to run, and I don't know if they saw anything positive from Zach this past week, and they're able to say, okay, we feel a little more confident. I want to see it against New England because I want Zach to be the reason we win a game. And for his entire career, I don't think we've seen that, and that's the most like gut-wrenching part of this whole thing. Like, yeah, maybe like the Titan game year 1 where he had that like rollout and like the Hail Mary kind of throw to Corey Davis, but like I just want to see. I want to see some wins. I want to see some points put up. There's a reason, like we don't score any points with Zach. It sucks.
I definitely agree with you, and I think that this is a good opportunity to slay the dragon, so to speak. I mean, he's got to have a good game against Belichick. I think he could turn a lot of heads, and I think that the offense is good enough to do it. We just have to make sure that Matthew Judon isn't going to look like Micah Parsons.
Dude, if Judon looks like Parsons, this season is donezo. Alan, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Got Craig. Craig says, you all, just do what I did. You will see. Slow it down to 0.25 speed. I wish we could do that to the actual pass rush. He says, set a timer for 7 seconds. And that's exactly 2 seconds. And watch what he did. Well, it shouldn't be 7 seconds. It should be 8 seconds, right? Would equal 2 seconds because 0.25 speed. Math. I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. Craig says, if you do what I did, Ryan, give us the proof. I will go back because you have been so adamant about it. I will go back and I will look at it and I will bring you the receipts tomorrow. And I will let you know exactly how I feel about the Zach Wilson every throw and where I felt his stats could have been if everyone caught the ball or if, time was given. He says, roof, not opinion. It's proof, not opinion. It's receipts. Shh. Till you see. Jet engine firing back. Listen, guys, if you slow the highlight down to 0.25 speed, turn the contrast all the way down, squint your eyes, listen to German death metal at full volume. Wilson looks great. Jet engine and Craig going at it. Oh, geez. Look, I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at those plays. My first impression after looking at the every throw was like, all right, look, Zach didn't look horrible until it was hero ball time and we were down by 3 scores. But at the same time, at the beginning of the game, I said, go back and look at the Talking Jets halftime report with me, Matt, and Green Bean over on the Talking Jets panel. Because that was one of the things I said. I was like, man, it looks like they are calling plays like they were afraid to have Zach Wilson throw the ball. And I feel that way until I see the play calling changed a little bit. It doesn't feel like they have any faith in Zach. And maybe this game was enough and Craig's right and we'll be able to see some different play calling in the future. But man, I didn't get that feeling. Jake, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this.
Hey, Ryan. Well, right now I'm not too happy because I just lost Nick Chubb for the season. So this is not exactly...
Did they just confirm ACL?
They're saying it's a knee dislocation with ligament damage. He's not coming back from that. He's not.
No, knee dislocation's bad shit.
Yep. It's instability. It's just crap. Ugh.
Oh, well, at least your quarterback for your favorite football teams. Oh, shit. He's out for the season, too. Sorry to rub some dirt on it, Jake.
What are you doing to me, man? Like, come on.
I value your opinion, though, so I am excited to hear what you have to say about this game.
You're not going to like it, but I'm just going to be frank because okay, I'll just make this short. I was at the game on Monday. I left in the second quarter. I did not stay for the so-called miracle because I'm sorry, Jet fans. I think you've all chosen to have amnesia this year about Zach Wilson. I'm sorry. this game just proved to me yesterday that we are choosing to ignore reality. That we are just, the season's over. The season is over right now. I have no belief this is going to get better at all. The offensive line, I have no belief.
Give me some copium. That's what I'm taking right now. I got to get through a fucking season. I cannot like bank on like, oh, it's going to be the next 2 years.
Man, I can't do this. This fan base needs to wake up. I can't hear this anymore. I can't listen to the sportscasters. I can't listen to these podcasts. Enough. He's not good.
So what do we do?
He sucks. Please.
What's
I
the
need
play,
to be a
Jake?
good Jet fan. I need to be this. Enough.
Well, I just want to get through the season. Tell me, what quarterback can we get that makes it all go away? I just want it.
We need to be calling people out of retirement. That's all we have at this point. If I have to hear Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke, God, it's like, why are we doing this? Are we seriously doing this?
But then that's the thing. Like, if we're not, if we don't have an option at quarterback, then like you just kind of have to put Zach out there. Like you got to bring someone in, right?
Tank for Drake Mays. Tank for Drake Mays. That's the next Justin Herbert. I would tank the season at this point. What is winning 7-8 wins? Ryan, let me ask you a very serious question. What does 7-8 wins tell us this year? What does that mean in the end? What does that mean?
Look, if 7-8 wins is a bad failed season compared to where we were planning to be.
Correct. That's
if you go down and you're in that, top 1, 2, 3 pick conversation, like we're hitting fucking reset and like shit's going sideways, and that's not good either. Like I'd rather be the team that has to trade a bunch of picks to go up and get the quarterback. I'd rather be that 7 or 8 win team than have to like earn the top 3 picks. Like we got too many good players on this team to just nuke this thing right now.
Well, the problem is, dude, is that Joe Douglas, I actually like Joe Douglas. The problem is he's going to be forever known as the guy that took this loser quarterback and did not get the offensive line straightened out. Now, granted, we can say first, okay, let me say something else. Why was Will McDonald not playing yesterday? If we did not want to take an offensive lineman any point, why did this kid not play yesterday? And I don't want to hear, well, because we have too many pass rushers. That's bullshit. I don't want to hear that. So why was he a scratch yesterday?
I believe what they were saying is they wanted to play big ball. They wanted they had the pass rushers. They wanted to add more bulk on the offensive or on the defensive line. That's what I heard.
Oh, that's solid. That's a genius answer right there, bro. Genius answer right there. You know what? We could have bulked up.
I'm not so sure Will McDonald necessarily helps us yesterday, though. I'm not sure Will McDonald helps. They got rid of the ball so fast that like I'm not sure he's like solving many problems. Like he's not going to be scoring points.
No, but our offensive line needed it. And I don't want to hear Broderick Jones is bad on Pittsburgh. It doesn't matter, dude. They should.
But he wasn't even an option for us because we traded down for Rodgers.
Traded down. They should have traded. Hold on. They should have traded down and take more line. I don't care if they even took John Michael Smiths because right now Joe Tippmann's not doing anything. Where is he? Connor McGovern is playing center again. We could talk all we want about Laken Tomlinson and Fatty Magoo Becton, who should not be on this team anymore, and Dwayne Brown, who clearly is past his prime. We could go on and on and on about it. The bottom line here is they did not address the offensive line. And I'll tell you another thing. Not only did they not address the offensive line, I'm going to tell you something else that no one wants to talk about in period. The linebackers are going to kill us next week. They are going to get destroyed by Mac Jones and the screen pass all day long. And I listened to people earlier today. Jake Asman was crucifying some guy. Dude, we are going to get slaughtered by the slant pass all day Sunday. It's going to happen. Forget Ramondre Stevenson is not going to have to do anything. It's going to happen. And I'm afraid to say this also is because Zach Wilson has been schooled by Belichick. So what makes me believe they're going to beat Patty in 2 weeks? What makes me believe they're going to beat Hurts in 4? How are we going to beat Russell Wilson? Loser Russell Wilson. Because Nathaniel Hackett sure is going to have to go back to that stadium and win, or Sean Payton's basically going to have the last word. Like, when do we stop the bleeding? I know I'm ranting, but when do we stop the bleeding on any of this?
I got you. You just got to find a quarterback. Like, that's the fucking thing.
Where is that, man?
If it's not Zach, tell me
where is it, man?
Jake, I love you. Ejected from the cockpit. Got some zest to him tonight. Craig, jet engine, do what I did, then talk. Them's fighting words. Craig says, do what I did. You will have the proof. Jake's popping back in. What do you want, Jake? You want to talk more?
I needed to cool down for a second because I was ready to have another stroke. Probably I had 5 of them in the span of Monday to Tuesday. So look, I look, it's just painful. It's just so goddamn painful that this had to happen to us. And I'm sorry, losing Rodgers is not going away for me anytime soon. Zach Wilson can go up there and screw Gisele Bundchen on the field and throw 5 touchdowns tomorrow. It ain't shit.
I gotta eject you. I'm having a grand old time listening to that. I gotta boot you. All right. We got Omar joining the show. Omar, welcome back.
Ryan, I tell you, man.
It's been
listen.
rough.
Yeah. I had a feeling that this would happen. Like when Rodgers went down on Monday night, my heart sank because I said to myself, here comes the debate again about poor Zach. And this kid can't do anything right for us. I swear. Like, no, we could win the Super Bowl and people are still going to say that Zach Wilson's not it and yada, 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 yada. We didn't show up ready to play on Sunday. That's just the facts. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Yeah, no, it looked like we were unprepared from a coaching perspective, from a player perspective across the board. We got our ass handed to us. 42 minutes and 15 seconds time of possession for Dallas. Fucking nuts.
Yeah, I'll just say this because I have all these points written down and I can't go through all of them. But I'll just say this: how excited has everybody been when Aaron Rodgers got here? Right? How excited have we been seeing the talent of Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Sauce, all these guys? You know, we can all name them. We all know this team by heart. Like I could pretty much name everybody on the team. I mean, when you're a fan, you're a fan, right? And Rodgers went down, right? But without Rodgers came here, we had all this excitement, and now it's like, okay, what's going on now? Where would you rather be? Tell me. Would you want to go back to the Adam Gates era? Because, and I hate mentioning that because I almost stopped being a Jets fan during the Adam Gates era. In fact, I stopped being a football fan. So, like, name a time in the last 20 years or so with the Jets that you'd want to go back to. I mean, maybe the Sanchez days, maybe those first 2 years. I know
Douglas
really
is the best GM we've had. Like, definitely since I've been around. Like, I do not want to get rid of Douglas.
That's the point I'm getting at. You have micro and you have macro. Yes, something bad just happened, but in the long term, in the big scheme of things, this team is very talented. And look where we came from to where we are right now. And to the person who was saying JD didn't try to do something, remember on draft night when it was 000s and everybody was wondering what's going on with the Jets? Like nobody knew what the Jets pick was. I mean, they literally went down to the wire, and I don't know if the league gave us an extension or whatever it was. JD was calling everybody and could not get out of 15. You remember that, Ryan, right?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying, we all had this weird reaction to McDonald. Okay, that's, let's see, they tried. You got to make the pick by the rules or you lose that spot. We tried to get out of 15. Nobody wanted to trade with the Jets. Everybody knows what's up now. And now when Joe Douglas calls you, it's like, oh, what does he want? I don't know how much more fleecing Joe Douglas can do, man. He's the best GM we've had.
But even if you got to take a little less and slide back and get, I don't know. At some point, it's okay to move back for a little bit less. And
listen,
I think Will McDonald's going to be good. Like I didn't love the pick at the time because it felt like a future pick to like replace Huff and Lawson when I thought we should be making a pick to help us this year.
We got some issues in the coaching staff. I don't know what the hell is going on with it, but if we believe in this team and we have to, and call it blind faith if you want to, but I love what I see. And I love what I'm seeing from Zach Wilson. I agree with the person saying slow down the film. I thought Zach looked really good. And I'm looking at him as this is a reboot, and this is Zach Wilson as a rookie, and he's coming in for the veteran quarterback who went down that we didn't expect to happen.
It's his third year. Omar, I love the positive vibes, but I'm ejecting you from the cockpit. Now, I think you guys are going to be excited to hear this next call. Let me get to Douglas's super chat real quick. Hasn't been, doesn't, equals won't be when there's as much innate talent that Wilson has. Stop the effing reset merry-go-round. So Douglas is saying, don't hit the reset. Now, I don't really want to lose Saleh or Douglas. I really don't. I do believe in what they're selling right now. It's just it was a bad pick. I mean, I can't say anything else other than that right now, and that I hope it gets better with Zach. But I don't want to go through the whole reset. I actually feel like the coach and the GM are the right guys. It's just, I just don't know if Zach, like, I don't think Zach's the guy. Ultimately, he's our guy right now, and until we have someone else, I'm going to like keep backing him. Give me a better option. The offensive line plays better. Then I think we have a little bit more leg to stand on this week. I think we'll know more. If the offensive line plays good and Zach sucks against the Pats again, we'll make a trade. I really believe that. All right. I know you guys want to hear from this guy again. Jet Engine, how you doing, brother?
What's up, pal?
Hanging in there.
Listen, I appreciate everybody's blind hope and optimism. I get it. I'm a Jets fan. Been a Jets fan since the early 70s. So I get it. I get it, guys. But look, let me ask you, everybody, just take a minute. Let me ask you a question. Is Zach Wilson better than Baker Mayfield? Is he better than Carson Wentz? I can go on, but let's take those two. Baker Mayfield's on what, his third or fourth team?
Third team.
How many teams
second
is Carson
team.
Wentz?
He was on the Browns and then went straight to the, or no, he was on the Panthers too.
Yeah, no. He went out west too. If you
Did he really?
Yeah, he's been on 4 teams now. This is his 4th team. Yeah, he was a number 1 overall pick, and he is better than Zach Wilson. He is on his 4th team, and he's a placeholder.
I wanted Baker. I was a Broadway Baker guy that year.
I tried to sell myself on him too, but whatever. He's the anti-Zach Wilson. He's kind of an unlikable douchebag, whatever. That being said, Jameis Winston is better than Zach Wilson. He's a backup. We keep looking at this kid, and you want to pick and choose throws from a highlight video on YouTube. Come on.
It's every throw. It's not just a highlight. I show the bad ones in there.
I know it's every throw, Ryan. I watch them, trust me. But it's like, you step back. He is not a good quarterback. He is not developing appropriately. This is year 3. We can't pretend he's a rookie. That's absurd. Listen, I was a fire captain, and I had plenty of guys who came in and they tried hard and they wanted to do it, but they were not suited for the job. And guess what? For their own good, you have to sit them down and say, you know what? This ain't for you. You might want to go sell shoes at the mall. So
that's some
I'm
tough
sorry.
love. Yeah.
I mean, it's a fact. He's not getting it. He is not slowing down. Yes. Oh, he made a throw. That's his job. His job is to throw the football, and he does it very well. So did Jeff George. Jeff George was actually a much better player than Zach Wilson, too. Never won anything.
Sure.
That being said, physical talent is great. If you can't put it together, if you cannot slow the game down, if you cannot process, it's just not going to work. This is year 3. He's been through 3 training camps in an NFL offense.
My hope was kind of that it was like LaFleur, right? Like I was hoping the Hackett reset would just kind of like snap something. Like I'm hoping for that Alex Smith level, like, aha.
And that would be fantastic. But it took Alex Smith, quite a while.
Like 6 years. Yeah, it was a long time.
So I get it. We all hope he does well. We all hope he figures it out. He slows it down. But you know what? The signs aren't there. And no, Craig, I'm not going to slow the video down to 0.2 on the YouTube meter and watch, oh, well, if this happened and that happened and, if wishes were horses and beggars would ride, it ain't happening, guys. So it just, this is a take from, not as a hot take as before. I've been watching a lot of football my whole life. We all have. We're all here. We're all watching Ryan on a Monday night talking about the Jets who just got stomped. So we're all fans. But that being said, we can cry every year. It's a different excuse. It's the O-line. It's the offensive coordinator. The kid's got to be able to hit his spot and throw the ball with rhythm and timing accurately. And until he does that, he's a more likable Josh Rosen at this point. Sorry. So that's what I got for you. I know it does. Hey, listen, I was in Indianapolis when Sam Darnold was drafted for a conference. I went nuts when we got that kid. I had all the hope in the world, and
I thought he was the guy.
Work out. I wish it did. I wish we stuck with him a little bit more, and we put a decent offensive line around him. They've gone out of their way to put a team around this kid. Yeah, is it working so far? Somewhat. We've seen other guys successful in this offense.
Would
We've
you like to
seen,
see
what was it,
Zach?
Josh Johnson came in, Mike
Would
White
you like
came
to
in.
see? Sure.
We saw the animated corpse of Joe Flacco throwing for 300 yards. So I don't know what to tell you guys. It just, you keep having hope, but until they get it figured out, and the Jets coaching staff has already figured it out. They already know that this kid, they have to tailor a simplified, babified offense around him, and that allows teams to just tee off on us.
You got to think they're going to make a move then, right? Like that. It's got to be at some
Well, they
point.
definitely
You rattled off a few quarterbacks.
Granted, now somebody said something earlier about Zach Wilson has taken some shots over the last couple of years. I joke around. No, he doesn't want to get hit. Who does? But when somebody's allowed to lower their shoulder into his face mask at full speed while he's already in the grasp of another player and take that shot, number one, they're not protecting their players. I don't know what, I have no reason. I don't know why, but I mean,
You're saying the refs, right?
So he's hit in the head 5 times a game and nothing is thrown.
It's insane.
But
it's been like 600 days since our last roughing the passer call.
No, it's completely absurd. But it goes beyond that. The fact of the matter is he's running around. He's getting hit. Zach Wilson, listen, guys, Zach Wilson could go, knock on wood. I don't want anybody to get hurt. He could go down in the second quarter of this Sunday. And then we're trotting Tim Boyle out. And then I think that Randall Cobb would be our emergency quarterback at that point.
He would.
We need to get somebody in here. Somebody, who was the kid? Cade something, or the kid who took the Vikings to the playoffs a few years ago?
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum. I would love to bring that kid in.
I like Case.
Somebody
a lot.
like that.
I don't know if he's a free agent. I feel like he's on a roster somewhere, and I'd
so
have to
I
look.
mean, I'm sure he's a talented kid, and
I think he's in Houston for some reason. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, well,
I'd have to
Houston's
look.
quarterback. Listen, and here's the thing too, real quick, and then I'll get off. You look at Carolina, you look at the Texans. Richardson's already hurt, whatever, but those two rookies are outplaying Zach Wilson right now by a very large margin. They're rookies on shit teams. They were drafted in the top 5 for a reason, and they are playing better than Zach Wilson right now in their second week in the NFL. Not great, guys. Anyway,
You're right.
I'll let you go, Rye.
Dude, I appreciate it. You've been ejected. Jet engine spitting some facts here. Craig comes in. The fans, the media, including YouTube, especially YouTube, except Ryan, will drive him from New York, and he will be a superstar. Stop killing this kid. So look, I'm as optimistic as you'll find for the most part. I would say Richie's a little more optimistic than me. And I don't want to throw Zach out with the bathwater. But the guys that are saying like, oh, well, I'm looking at him like a rookie. You can't do that. He is in the league. And Jet Engine's bringing up some good points. He said Mike White with a shit offensive line and shit offensive weapons had 400 yards. Has Zach had 300? Do we have a 300 yard? I don't think we have a 300 yard game from Zach. I'm hoping he shows us a little bit more this week. I don't need a 300 yard game from Zach. But I want him to be the reason we win. I want him to hit a big throw in a big moment. I want him to look like consistent throughout the game. Wyatt comes in. If we give up Zach, another team will get him and he will look, and we will look horrible. Zach has it. He's not the same this year. That's the story I want to believe. And honestly, that's the story I was buying through training camp and through week 1. And honestly, you look at my post game yesterday, and even the beginning of the stream. I didn't think Zach was the reason we lost. But I'm going to tell you honestly, I do think that the coaching staff is afraid to call plays that expose Zach. And that is a big concern. You have to be able to throw the ball in this league, and they're just going to pack the box until you do. So I can have as much faith in Zach as I want, but he's got to prove it on the field. And I do think he was getting better over the course of training camp. But this is real time, and we didn't get to see any pass rush in training camp. He's got the red jersey on. You didn't get to see it. I saw Play Like a Jets video last week. I'm optimistic. Get me that win against the Pats, and we'll talk. Craig, fan for 50 years. Ryan, do it. You'll have hope. It'll give me hope again. He says the video seen like I saw it is proof, not an opinion. So what for those of you guys hopping in just now, what Craig's talking about is the every throw video and what could have been with Zach. Look at the positive sides of Zach. Look at the drop. See what could have been yardage-wise. Look at the offensive line had given him some time. That's what he's saying. I'm going to hold out faith until we get another quarterback in here that's a better option. You can't convince me that Tim Boyle is a better option right now. You bring in another quarterback that's a better option, and there's going to be a lot of them. But man. Omar, I see you call. I'm going to get through some super chats, and I'll pop you up there in just a second. J-Boy says, it's effing week 2. Does everyone want to be 0-2? I don't want to be 0-2. I don't want to be 0-2. I want to win versus New England. Get me to 1. Get me to 2-1. The video totally disproves Jet Engine. He was spectacular. I have a very hard time calling Zach Wilson's performance yesterday spectacular. But I encourage, or I look forward to being wrong when I relook at it. Craig says, and Brees forgot to put 2 drops in that emoji. Thank you, Craig. That got me hot. Emojis, 4 touches. Okay, well, fucking catch 2 screen passes too, dude. Craig's on it. I do agree with that. He says, Ryan, you'll have hope and proof. Give it to us. When I go back and look at that, I'll bring it up to Green Bean and O'Leary tomorrow. I'll have the stat line for what I project it to be based on, we're going to call this adjusted completion percentage, but it's, it's a gray area because you got to connect on it too. But I'll give it the old college try. Douglas, context matters. Mike White sat and watched 3 seasons before seeing a snap in a regular season game. Look, it sucks. Zach Wilson didn't get the benefit of what we were trying to have him do this year. We were trying to not have him take a snap this season and next season. We wanted Rodgers to be here. We wanted to give Zach, a 1-year contract to see if he can do what he wants to do or is able to do what he's learned through 2 years. It sucks. The dude's a mold, like a little block of clay, and you can see the attributes there. It's the between the ears stuff that he's not getting, and Aaron Rodgers is supposed to help him. Maybe Aaron Rodgers on the sideline is going to help him. I don't know, man. It just scares me because this team is too damn good to lose with poor quarterback play. Omar, hopping back in. What's up, Omar?
Hey, so I was going to make that point about Mike White. Actually, he sat longer than, I think, 3 years. So Case Keenum is playing for Houston. Just wanted to get some facts out there. So we'd have to trade for him. And Aaron Rodgers came here, and yes, that was the plan. Rodgers was supposed to be. We're all in on Rodgers. Let's be honest. You're saying the right thing. What's the we get rid of Zach? What's the thing? Or anybody will be better than him? Really? I feel like Jets fans like losing. Seriously, deep down inside, we like having this debate. It's
There's
we don't want anything.
What's it called when there's when you can't get away from your abuser, kind of like the Jets are. There's that victim syndrome or whatever, or I don't know if that's not the right word, but I know what you're saying.
I think I know what you mean. Yeah, and I just wonder, this is the point I was trying to get at: is why do we keep having this? Yeah, why do we keep having this debate about this poor kid who did nothing? By the way, Aaron Rodgers went on the Pat McAfee show and said, "Hey, that kid, Deion Sanders kid, looks really good. It's bullshit that people keep giving him a hard time because he went to Jackson State. It doesn't matter where you went to school. If you could play, you could play." So I felt like that was a shout out to Zach. People saying how he went to BYU. If you could play, you could play. Steve Young went to BYU. We keep having this debate with poor Zach. He was not supposed to play this year. His mom posted on freaking Instagram, this was supposed to be a year of growth and development, and now he's been thrown back into the shit. Yeah. I mean, what do we want from Zach? It's the coaching. It's everything else around him. We got to, the offensive line. Listen, we got to be more supportive of this team. No matter how ugly it gets. We were really excited at the beginning of the season, and now all of a sudden it's like the air has gone out of the bubble. Why?
You lost Rodgers like that. We were saying, and this is kind of probably to your point too. Like before the season, we said, look, we're gonna roll with 2 quarterbacks. The plan is to not have Zach play at all. Rodgers goes down for any significant amount of time, we're fucking shit out of luck anyway. And then you're just kind of up shit's creek, and you know it is what it is. Like it sucks, and it just so happened to be in like the first drive of our entire season. Like that's the big part that sucks.
Like I would say this: would you rather a quarterback that's got 26 civil lawsuits against him right now? Would you rather guys on this team that don't have character, that are in New York clubs getting in trouble? We'll figure it out. You got to believe that. If you don't believe that, then I don't know what to tell you. It's like you like being a negative Jets fan. You like having drama. When Zach Wilson's not here, I bet you will still blame Zach Wilson for anything that goes wrong. I don't understand it. So that's all I had to say, Ryan.
Dude, I appreciate it. And I can't speak for everyone, but I know for a fact they're hoping for Zach to do the right thing. They're not hoping for misery. And I think they wouldn't classify themselves as miserable Jet fans. I think they're seeing themselves as realistic Jet fans. And they're saying, look, we've seen Zach for 2 years. And like, he's kind of, I don't think he's doing the same stuff that he did the last 2 years. Like he does look different to me, but I want to like see it all connect because through 2 games, he's statistically one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. And, you know, I do think there's a little bit of unfairness for the Buffalo game. Like he was not like prepped for that game. So for me, I can kind of like compartmentalize that, but then I wind up making excuses and I compartmentalize this game because I'm like, all right, well, Dallas might be in the Super Bowl, but we're supposed to be a Super Bowl team, but it's also that pass rush. And like,
I mean, did the Jets keep him or did A-Rod say, hey, keep him? You get what I'm saying? Like what effect does Rodgers have? Think about that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Rodgers is going to dictate that kind of quarterback move. I think he can provide insight and he's going to have his back because, you know, that's part of why he was brought in. It's like, hey, look, we're going to try and like, if we're going to make anything out of Zach, having you here is the best
thing ever.
Medicine. Yeah. And look, I don't know. I hope Zach can be the guy. And I hope maybe by the bye week, we're sitting here and we're 3-3. If we're sitting at 3-3, how are you feeling, Omar? Are you rolling with Zach from there on out? Because that's like right when you need to make the trade because the trade deadline is week 8. Week 6, do you make that trade if we're sitting at 3-3?
At 3-3, I feel good because then we got the Giants and we're still at home. Remember I mentioned how our travel schedule is favorable. We're home a lot. We're playing a lot on East Coast time. So
yep.
If we make a move, I really think it's going to be offensive line move or something else. I think the Jets coaching staff sees what the issue is, and I think that's what they'll do. I think Joe Douglas is trying. Seriously, I don't want to go away from Douglas and Salah and reboot and everything. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it again.
I'm with you, Omar. Thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Josh hops in and says, worst feeling of Rodgers going down was this exact feeling, hoping we come back with Zach while down by 2 possessions, never really in the game. That has to change. Otherwise, it's last season again. And that's the part that like crushes me. I don't want to waste another prime year of Garrett and Brees. Like, I don't want to say luckily, but Brees getting knocked out last year, like that at least gives you that little bit of like, okay, well, we didn't really waste a year because he wound up like going down. That shit sucks. But like, man, dude, I just want to see Zach put it together. I really do. And I get that pit in my stomach. It's like, all right, we're down by 2 touchdowns. Like, where's Zach from like the second half of the Steelers game last year? That's Zach I want to see. Craig comes in. Craig says, when are you on tomorrow? I can't hear any more criticism. Just need to see what he did with 2 seconds or less under intense pressure. Ryan, please. So I will be on. I have work tomorrow. So I'm going to be on for the Talking Jets panel at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 tomorrow on the Talking Jets channel. So make sure you're subscribed to that channel if you're not already. But I will do it. Randy says, everyone talking, we are cursed. It's Jets fans that are cursed. We need to shut the fuck up and put faith in Zach so he can play fantastic football. There's a lot of faith that you're putting in Zach. And hopefully that faith is rewarded. I got my fingers crossed. Craig says, any more trade talk and I'm out. Just watch, Ryan. I got you, Craig. I got you. I see where you're going with this. Henry comes in. Henry, how you doing tonight, brother?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So I've been watching you since I'm 18. I've been watching you since the Le'Veon Bell, when we got Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, dude, that was such a fun night, and it sucked so bad after that.
Yeah, I never have time to call in because I'm always doing something, and I like never watch your videos on the night you're streaming them. I always like listen, whatever days after. But I watch like every single video of the Jets because you're the only knowledgeable Jets guy out there right now.
Oh, we got a lot of good guys, but I appreciate it.
I've been watching football since 2013, and we have not been good except for the Ryan Fitzpatrick year, of course. That was the best year we've had. But I don't know. I thought Zach Wilson looked pretty decent, especially I guess it was really that Garrett Wilson pass was the only good throw. But I don't know. Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook did not look good. We kept running the ball to the left side, which was questionable.
Right? Yeah, like you got two studs that you drafted in the first round on the right-hand side that you're getting like a solid push on. Like run behind those guys.
And then Dwayne Brown, and don't even get me started on Laken Tomlinson. They look terrible. Like,
I don't know how you fix that. Like you just avoid the left side of the line, roll everything out to the right. Like, I don't know what to do unless you're swapping all like pieces around and moving people all over the place now.
I don't even know what you do. And then do you think Rodgers realistically will come back?
Playoffs, I do. Like, playoffs. I think him saying that is more motivation to try and get players to get that little more like effort that they might put in, as opposed to thinking the season's dead. If they think, oh man, if we can just get to the playoffs, if we can just get there, we might get our quarterback back. I mean, if there's one quarterback that could do it, Rodgers is the type of son of a bitch that I think could definitely do it.
I know, 40 years old. I don't want to get my hopes up because I'm really excited. I got a jersey. Like, I was so like fans. The only other fans that really can relate are, I guess, Detroit Lions fans.
Yeah, they can commiserate with us. It's been rough.
But it's really been rough, and I want to bring Kirk, but as you were saying earlier, our O-line is so bad. I mean, does it even make a difference?
That's just it. Like, I don't know. Like, if the Vikings are going to pull the plug on Kirk, and if the Jets bring in Kirk, then I say, okay, hopefully we didn't give up the first, because I don't want to give up the first for a potential 1-year rental. If you can give up the third this year to get Kirk, and then you have the option of like, okay, we're either going to try and extend him if Rodgers ultimately hangs it up or something like that, or you just let him walk and you get the compensation pick and you roll with Rodgers, next year. Like that, I'm kind of okay with that if that's the decision they want to make. But man, the all line is so bad. Like, to give up assets is rough.
Highback didn't look bad.
Everyone looked bad. There wasn't one good player out there. Henry, thank you so much for the call.
Thank you too.
Take it easy, brother. You've been ejected from the cockpit. J-Boy pops in. J-Boy says, send the Colts a 2025 first for Gardner Minshew. Will that make everyone happy? No, I do not want to send a first-round pick for Gardner Minshew. Do not want to do that. I do want Gardner Minshew. Don't get me wrong. That was actually the guy of all like the backups. Like, you can't rely on a great team to use Gardner Minshew as your, like, not incumbent, but you're the starter for the start of the season. But like, I would have loved, if we didn't have Zach, Gardner Minshew would have been my backup. I'm a big Gardner Minshew guy. Craig, 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., Ryan, your video seen. My way is proof. I will be on 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow on the Talkin' Jets panel with O'Leary and Green Bean over on the Talkin' Jets channel. Douglas drops in. What am I doing? Douglas, why can't I? Oh, you retracted your comment. So Douglas says, I live life following my upstate New York farmer's wisdom. You can live life in hope or die in despair. Glass half full. I do like the glass half full thing. I'm a far more optimistic person, although I definitely have my pessimistic side. So I don't know if I should say that all the time. Craig, okay, I'm out. Nobody will watch the proof. Jets fans are breaking my heart and killing this kid. Craig, I told you I'll watch it. Not going to watch it right this second, but as soon as I hop off, I'll watch it. You're giving me hope. I'm afraid it's false hope, but you're giving me hope. All right. This is a long call-in show. You guys had a lot to say tonight. I always enjoy that. The call-in show, I was telling Becca, the call-in show is one of my favorite shows to do. Even like, it sucks because like later in the season when like shit notoriously is not good, we don't get as many viewers. But you guys are spicy right now. We got some good takes. Got a whole bunch of really good calls. But guys, that's going to be it for me tonight. I'm going to hop over into bed after I watch my every throw video per Craig. I want to see that. Want to see it. Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you tonight. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night on the Talking Jets panel. This is Jets Talk, signing off. Jets.